Evening, everyone. Welcome to the Fitchburg Planning Board on Tuesday, March 25th, 2025. Going to read our brief opening statement. All meetings of the Fitchburg Planning Board are open to the public. This does not mean that the public participates in all aspects of the meeting. It simply means that the meeting itself, including all discussions and votes, is open for public view. If you wish to address the board regarding a public hearing, please raise your hand and the board will acknowledge you at the appropriate time during the hearing. The board will also monitor any participants that are attending virtually for questions at the appropriate time. Virtual attendees are asked to use the raise hand function to be acknowledged. 1, state your name and address. 2, approach the center table and either stand or sit. This allows you to be seen and heard clearly by everyone in attendance. 3, the planning board requests that comments be limited to no more than 5 minutes in the interest of time. Please be advised that FATV is conducting audio and video recording of this meeting for public broadcast, and I ask that anyone in the audience who is recording this meeting to please identify themselves for the record now by stating their name and address. There seems to be none present in that regard. All right. Going to take a simple roll call vote at the beginning, just to helpful with our minutes. The who's present, just say present when you call your name. Peter?
Present.
Paul?
Here.
Or here? Yep. Tracy?
Present.
Alex?
Present.
Paula? Present. Amanda?
Present.
Alin?
Present.
All right, full board. Look at that. Our first item on our agenda this evening are approval not required plans, for which we don't have any. Moving right along into the next segment, minor site plans and modifications. We do have before us this evening for a 40R smart growth development. This is New View Communities proposing a minor change to the conditions regarding sidewalks for the Fitchburg Arts Community located at the historical B.F. Brown campus at 62 and 82 Academy Street. And I'm not so much sidewalks, but you're also looking for it's really number of bedroom change and also the change in percent affordability in the permit. That's my understanding. And if anybody would like to come forward this evening.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm Mark Doan. I'm the director of New View Communities. And I think we have a couple people online, too, if you could. So it should be Steve's
Cook on there, yeah.
And Jim DeVellis.
Yes. Yes, they're both up.
Terrific, great. We can go from there, and then I can turn it over to Steve and Jim for some of the specifics. We met with the Planning Department and DPW earlier last week, and I think we came to an agreement about all the work that how all the work is going to get done. So we're happy to present that, and I think Chantel said that she had, so let me back up. So should we do the sidewalks first and then go through the other pieces? Is that how how would you like to handle it?
Well, I probably, if the sidewalks is probably just more of an FYI, is that more of an update because we're not really changing anything or you're requesting a change? This will be first information that we've heard, so regarding sidewalks.
Perfect, so we'll start with the sidewalks and then we'll do the bedrooms and then the affordability piece, which we had spoken about last week. So so let's start with the sidewalks. Like I said, I think we met with, well, I know we met with DPW and we met with the planning board. I think we came to a good agreement and compromise about how we can work to take care of the issues. And I don't know, Chantel, if you wanted to comment on that at this point.
Yeah, I can comment on that. Ryan Colleen did send some comments over. I think that the agreement that was a compromise is that at least some of the sidewalks would be repaired, especially the ones that are damaged or cracked, especially with the construction. And then leaving the pavement that's in good shape.
If it's helpful to you, Chantel, I have it up. Do you want me to read it?
If you don't mind, Paul, yeah, that'd be great.
So Ryan commented on the department review and said, based on meeting between Newview, DPW Planning, and ComDev on February 21st, DPW Engineering was open to a compromise to conditions 7 and 8 on the special permit regarding it has the recorded booking page. To reduce the scope of work implied in conditions 7 and 8, the word crosswalk shall be replaced with ADA compliant pedestrian curb ramps. This modification will provide clarity that Newview is only responsible for the reconstruction of pedestrian curb ramps on the opposite side of a crosswalk unless that pedestrian curb ramp is adjacent to the proposed project. The other compromise, which was discussed on February 21st, is regarding condition number 8. In lieu of requiring all sidewalks and crosswalks to be reconstructed to city standards, the city requests the damaged concrete sidewalk panels and misaligned granite between Elm Street at Academy and the stamped brick sidewalk to be repaired to city standard. Please note that these modifications are in addition to warranty items such as spalling concrete and other unaccepted work by the contractor that will still need to be addressed in addition to these modifications. So I talked to Ryan today. I was able to meet with him after the city meeting. So I was confused too when I read that. So he was telling me that the gist of it is that the ADA transitions that are on or adjacent to their properties, they're going to have them do. Originally, DPW's wording, Ryan explained it to me that they were of the impression that they were going to do the transition on one side and then the transition on the other side of the street. I forget what, no, there's 8 or 10 of them. There's quite a few. And basically, Ryan said that I think DPW is satisfied if they do the ones that are adjacent to their property and not necessarily the reciprocal ones on the other side of the street, that hopefully the city will take care of those. And that was kind of the agreement that they made in exchange for the work that can be done.
So my other question, I guess, would be, it's like right around like the annex building, there's like the sidewalk's almost like impassable. It's like caved in areas. I mean, those areas.
So Ryan and I talked about the asphalt sidewalks around that lower circle on the bottom of the annex building, which, I know we had mentioned it before, and that one meeting or that couple groups of meetings, for whatever reason, were in between Zoom here and go to meeting there. So for whatever reason, they're the only ones we don't have video of, which we have minutes, and the minutes kind of spell out a conversation about doing the sidewalks. But anyway, we're here now. We'll have this conversation now. I was under the impression that all the sidewalks where people were going to traverse, particularly that lower circle. I mean, originally I was thinking all the way around, but that lower circle specifically, just below the annex, because you're going to have people going from the annex building to the BF building and from the BF building to the annex building. Those sidewalks that semicircle is in particularly not good shape. It's asphalt and it's well worn. Ryan and I did talk about that, and he said, I said, well, is there any way we can do it with, maybe block grant funding next year? He said that there's a possibility. I don't know how likely it is, but there's a possibility that it can be done with some offsetting funds from when they do sewer separation there.
Yeah, I'm concerned about even on the backside of, if you even want to bring up the image.
Yeah.
I was just there today.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one section that was redone, that was repaved, but then it was like almost caved in to the corner. You couldn't even get to the corner to cross the street.
When you say bring up the image, did you email me something? Because I don't
Street
have any.
View.
Oh, okay.
No, I meant.
I thought I missed something. All right.
Do I think?
Academy Street.
It'd be interesting. It's like just for everybody's context to see
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And trying to understand what DPW is suggesting here.
Yeah. Yeah, and Ryan and I did. He was nice enough to pull his tablet out, and he showed me kind of what we were thinking. But all right, let me share my screen here.
I wish we had a DPW representative this evening if we were going to talk about
Yeah, he couldn't make
sidewalk.
it.
I didn't realize we were really delving into the sidewalk aspect this evening.
Well, so to that point, I think we might be better off just saying that the permit condition will defer to DPW engineering and let them iron out all the specifics. If you want to get into our intent of these sidewalks getting done, that's a different conversation altogether. Because the ones that they need repaired, actually, let's start there. The ones they need repaired are way down here. certainly correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I was reading, it's this area right here on Elman Academy. Some of these sidewalks are in not great shape. I don't know exactly what damage he's talking about, but, and I don't, this photo's 6 years old, so it could be worse now. But apparently they walked you through some of the sidewalks that need to be repaired?
Yes, it's about where, Steve or Jim may know exactly, but it's about where you have that arrow there. That area has collapsed.
Okay.
And so those were the areas that DPW asked us to focus on.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is 6 years ago. I don't know if like that's gotten worse.
Yes. Steve is, I just want to, Steve Cook, I think, is on.
He is, and he's unmuted.
Yep, so.
Yeah, so,
Steve knows.
yes, those are the areas, and then the pedestrian ramp right there, those two areas, we agreed to, create the pedestrian ramps down to those two crosswalks, and then if you go up, up Academy Street, correct. So also that one on our side, and then the one at the corner, that one has already been done, but there needs to be some work to satisfy DPW.
Is this one being done too?
Yes.
Okay. So those are certainly the priority, I think, for the project, to have those.
For the pads, for the crossing.
These are just the ADA pads and the tactile strips, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the ADA transitions and the
So if you
tactile strips.
go further up, go up High Street and then take a right, go around the annex buildings, the sidewalk conditions there that are just like terrible.
Yeah.
That's-
Well, I mean, this whole rounding is really bad shape. I mean, especially, if you have someone in a wheelchair, they're particularly.
Now, see, that's,
Yeah,
that over there is pretty much collapsed in
Yeah.
that section, right there. It's
Yeah.
that definitely has to be taken care of. I'm just like that spot.
I don't know if you
Even
can. I
cross.
don't know if you can. I mean, other than repairing it, I don't know if you could get a wheelchair around that corner anyway. So, but
Well,
that being
it's
said,
even
yeah.
for regular traversing.
Yeah.
It's bad. So that's the condition of the sidewalk for pedestrians going right around the residential building. That sidewalk needs to be gone over with repaved. So that's what I was hoping to get from DPW of reconstructing that sidewalk either to DPW standards, concrete, or they were going to allow just like some kind of like restoration of like at least getting the pavement level.
So I can, and Mark, certainly correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not speaking for the applicant, but I talked to Ryan. I think the impression of the meeting was the work that was hashed out was the extent of New View's funds. That's what I got the gist of.
Yes.
Mark, do you want to talk to that? I mean, there was a dollar amount discussed about what New View's exposure would be for repairs, and then the city had agreed, I believe, to look at doing some of the sidewalks on Academy and High Street as part of the sewer separation project.
Yep, that was what we talked about with DPW. So part of what they wanted, they felt they could do, and I think that's why we agreed on the language, is why we'd work it out with DPW. So we would be willing to do some portion of it. DPW would be willing to do some portion of it so that we can meet the objectives of, take care of the worst parts of the sidewalk. And we're happy to shift our pieces around to work with DPW. I think they had some real concerns about, because of the sewer separation project and some timing issues that were sort of out of our, we were trying to fit in with that, with their requirements for when they wanted to have that work done for that, so that the street will be paved and smooth and everything else will be done in time for the sewer separation part.
I had told Ryan when we were talking about the sidewalks, my particular point of concern is basically from here, from the entrance pathway to the annex building down to this crossing, because you don't want the sidewalk to be bad enough where people just try and cross traffic there, which I think is going to be a concern anyway, but you want it nice enough where people, are funneled to the crosswalk. But that stretch was my primary concern. I mean, I agree with you completely. I was always under the impression they were all going to be done with the project,
I
but
wasn't even focusing as much on the lower building because of the concrete sidewalk aspects of the, that cracked and stuff, but 'cause the ones around the annex were really bad.
But Ryan did say, like Mark had just mentioned, and, unless I was misunderstanding, Ryan had said that Nick and Ryan had talked about, the possibility of that being, part of funds from the contractor that's doing some of the work for sewer.
So I guess I'm,
Sidewalks are included with that. If with that conversation, I remember them saying that. They have sidewalk contracted.
Yeah. So I think, Paula, to answer your question, for the purposes of what we're doing, I think if, as part of the modification for the two other items that we're going to get to that are smaller in comparison, I think if we just clarify that the permit condition is upon satisfaction of the DPW and DPW engineering staff, and let the city hash out what they think is appropriate, only because we can go back and forth all day, but I don't think it's going to get anywhere. Just a suggestion.
I just want to look at the verbiage because I don't know.
I can pull up.
Well,
I can pull
I
up
don't have
the,
that information, and
Yeah. So
kind of what you're suggesting kind of goes beyond what he said.
I hear you. So I have the two permit conditions that were in question, 7 and 8. This permit condition 7 is applicant to incorporate cast iron handicap detectable mats at crosswalks in the design. And engineering had told me that it was, that the expectation always is if you're doing one side of the crosswalk, you have to do the other
that's
side
right.
because people have to get somewhere if they're doing it. I think that was part of their conversation last week. That's beyond the scope of what we're doing today.
And reiterate that that's a normal condition?
Yeah, because we make everybody else do it, I guess that's my thing.
So Ryan actually asked me to make sure that the applicant and the board understand that if we do this, this is not a typical situation where we would do this, meaning I think that's typically a requirement of most projects. But, like I said, I wasn't there for the meeting.
I
so
know,
it is what it
I
is.
really wish I would like some more commitment from the city about what we're going to do about that because it's around the school. too.
Right, so again, there's apparently a plan.
Right.
I don't know the extent of that, I think, but apparently there's a plan. They're aware that if we do this, it'll have to get done. So I would hope that everyone that was in the room last week, made a plan, but there has to be a plan. So the good news is some of those transitions, from what I saw on the street scene, some of the transitions are there. They're just not, they don't have the ADA tactile strips, and they're not new. So some might need some finessing. Some might need to be completely redone. I don't know. But again, that's, I think, beyond what we can kind of iron out today.
So at least easier. So number 7.
Yep.
It says applicant to incorporate, well, it says, cast iron handicap, ADA detectable mats. So,
And they're going to do all the ones that are directly adjacent to the site.
but we can say a crosswalks, let's say, you said eliminate crosswalks.
So yeah, Ryan's verbiage. I mean, again, we can make it easy by just let's just do 7. We can just say,
working on
instead
7.
of changing the wording, we can just say
For DPW.
right, DPW engineering and DPW commissioner to their satisfaction. I don't think we have to change wording as long as we leave it, basically in their court. And then 8 is sidewalks and crosswalks around the periphery of the proposed project, including intersections of High and Academy Street, to be reconstructed to city standards and ADA requirements as part of the proposed project. And I know I'm beating a dead horse, but we read this last meeting, and it sounded pretty clear to me, but
Yeah.
apparently it wasn't clear enough, so.
I wish I had some more clarity from DPW on what they think that they're going to get done on it.
Well, I mean, it's a moot point. If DPW is going to try and do it, I don't think there's guarantees, Paula. But at the same time, if the not-for-profit applicant can't do it, what do we do?
Because, we were working in cooperation, but we can just put an extended timeline on it as well in order to try to get it accomplished, rather than just not getting it accomplished at all.
The water and sewer separation is supposed to take place next year, 2026, just so you know.
When?
Next year, 2026.
What are they doing right now? They're literally in front of your building as we speak.
Yes,
It's on Elm Street, right?
they have been in front of our building as we speak.
Right, but yeah, today they were, Steve, and today they were on Academy.
Yes, they are doing the, Ryan and Nick would know exactly more, Steve may know, but my understanding is they are doing the water and sewer separation, and as part of that, they are also, that's part of their timing, is they want to get that done and then repave the street, and as part of that, they then want to fix the as much as they can, the accessible stuff, the accessible areas that would be very difficult to fix once everything is taken care of. Mm-hmm. So that's part of what there is driving DPW.
Okay.
Right, it's the repaving that's supposed to take place next year.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, maybe they can include part of the sidewalks in the repave.
Well, that's exactly what I was saying. That's what they're hoping to do.
But yeah, and like you're saying, it's not a guarantee. So then
Definitely
what's
not
the
a
alternative?
guarantee.
So then it doesn't get done. So I'm in agreement with, extend the time frame. There are grants that can be, CBDG that's used for, I don't understand why we're putting it on the city.
Mm-hmm. So to your point, it might make sense, the more I think about this, just to, while we're modifying this, add an 18-month extension to permit condition 8 so that we can see what it looks like when the street's paved. And then if the city at that point says we do not have funds to do that, then we have to figure out what are the options at that point. But maybe it's not something we need to look at right now. So I don't have a problem with that, to answer both of your points. So if you want to do that, just punt it until we see what everything looks like and how much funds we could actually use to do it. And then at that point, we'll be in next year's block grant applications. Maybe there can be a block grant application for it. So
I guess I'm just hesitant to modify the condition at this point. Then we'll work on the other ones, because it's like, we just want a little more
I was just thinking-
specifics, as well as a plan. Like, I want a plan of saying, this is where these are the limits.
they do have it. They have it written down. They have it all written down of which ones. He was pointing them out to me today, but apparently they drew on something and had it marked where the ones were that the city was, that the applicant was going to do for the transitions.
I think that Ryan has that drawing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I think we can come to, we will be able to come together on what, but I think we're going to stumble along and talk about it for, another hour without having DPW or even presence about in more documents about it, a little bit more information, because
Okay.
I don't know how the rest of the board feels on that.
I agree.
No, I only was following what you and Tracy were saying, in that we're modifying the permit anyway. If you want to just clarify it by saying, permit condition 8 to be revisited after the paving and sewer separation work is complete, so that we can get a picture of what it actually is going to look like when we find out what funds covered what and what funds didn't. And then I think that makes sense, that way there's some clarity to permit condition 8 too.
So some for review.
Yeah, you just put, you just say in regards to permit condition 8, to be revisited after the road resurfacing and sewer separation work is complete. That would be my suggestion. They figure 18 months-ish.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Plus, it buys everyone time to, like I said, if maybe if it can't be done, maybe part of it can be done with sewer separation funds and part of it can be done with block grant funds next year, and we'll have a picture of how much that actually is.
Wherever safe routes to schools went and whatever else.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, there's other funding out there. Yeah, not a tremendous amount, but maybe.
So just want to make sure I understand. So we didn't go into all of this here, but when we met with DPW, there were things that we did that were not on the plans that we did at the request of DPW to other parts of the project that we did. And that was part of what we were talking about in our meeting with them. So what I want to be clear for us, it is critical for us. I don't quite understand not quite certain what the resolution is of this is today. I understand that you want to see things. We need to have our, and this was one of the points that's most important for us, is to make sure that we can have our building permit issued, not permit, the certificate of occupancy needs to be issued to us. If we don't have the certificate of occupancy issued, we can't draw down our funding and there's no money.
I thought you already got them.
Yeah, I was under the impression that we already gave it
Or
to
you have
you.
a temporary?
We do not have it for the annex yet.
Oh,
So
for the
we need to make sure, and part of why we were able to do it for 2 and not for the last one, we did it for 2, and the city said, well, we still don't have the certificate of occupancy for the annex, so we need all 3 buildings to have their certificates of occupancy issued in order for us to move forward with the funding piece.
Okay. I'm going to propose that we'll take a look at that condition about the occupancy, and then we can put some type of, either exclusion or piece relating to the revisiting of the sidewalk. So this to be completed by X, except for blah, 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 at a timetable, separate timetable. Outside of that, because typically it was like everything to be done to get the occupancy, but we can say, well, this is obviously not going to get done to get the occupancy, so we could remove that.
The problem that the planning board has, Mark, is some of those sidewalks are not safe. Some of those sidewalks cannot be easily traversed in a wheelchair or someone with a disability. And again, you can read that permit condition a million ways. It's very clear to me that it was to redo the sidewalks around the periphery of the proposed project. So regardless of how you read it, we already heard that, what you had said about you thought it was just the stuff you had damaged. That's fine. I think that it's incumbent on the planning board to do the correct planning part of this and say, okay, I'm not speaking for the board, I'm speaking for me. It was my expectation when this got done, there were going to be new sidewalks there, particularly in the areas where you're going to encourage people to traverse from the annex to the BF building to the stables. And in lieu of that, since we know some of them are not safe, I think the best we can do is just wait and hope to see if, whatever the connection is, city funds via sewer separation or CDBG funds or whatever the case would be to get it done, or partially with the applicant or whatever the case would be. But I think we could probably reiterate that we don't need to withhold occupancy for that to happen.
Right.
Great. I appreciate that. That certainly is one of the most critical things, because I can tell you.
Yeah, we know you need to get moving.
Yeah.
If we can't get that, we don't have revenue coming in, and there's a lot of other pieces about because of the way this is funded.
I think in the last modification, we modified, let's see, Planning Board modifies its decision in the 2019 plan approval, condition 26. It's condition number 25 in the modified plan approval. Off-site improvements to be completed no later than 1 year after the first building permit was changed to off-site improvements to be completed prior to obtaining first certificate of occupancy. We can modify, this is where we're talking about modifying that piece.
I'm looking at the modification. Where do you see that? Or maybe this, hold on, maybe this isn't the modification. This is, 2021, 40-hour modification of plan approval.
So there's one where it says restated condition, it's the 2020, September 8th, 2020.
Okay. So I'm looking at the modification from 21. Waiver of timing compliance until prior, okay. Section, waiver of timing of compliance with section 181.87.A8I until prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for the first affordable unit. Is that what you're talking about?
Can you put it up on the screen?
Oh, yeah.
I have a copy of it, but.
Yeah. So I'll try and zoom in as far as I can. I don't know if you're going to see it from there, but so this is the one that I have from, it was recorded March 30th, 21. It was stamped October 7th, 2020 by the clerk.
Yes.
Okay. And then right here at the top of the third page, it says this one, waiver of timing of compliance until prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for the first affordable unit. Either way, what I'm trying to get at, Paula, is
it's section number 25. Keep going.
Permit condition 25?
It's changing permit.
Offsite improvements to be completed no later than 1 year after issuance of first building permit?
Yes, so that was changed already to say, instead of first It was changed to off-site improvements to be completed prior to obtaining first certificate of occupancy versus building permit. So we just need to change the off-site improvements excluding the sidewalk. We just got to put a different timeline for the sidewalk revisit on this, so excluding the,
Permit condition number 8.
yeah. You can say excluding permit condition number 8. Permit condition number 8 to be reviewed within 18 months,
Right.
compliance. Are there any other off-street pieces that need to be complied with if we changed it to that?
It's hard for me to understand what you're saying. I couldn't.
Is there anything else that needs to be done? Any off-site improvements other than, is everything going to be done by the time you're done with the annex?
Or
Everything
off-site improvements.
Yeah,
It's
the
only
sidewalk
thing else
repairs you
in it.
talked about doing, the ADA transition strips you agreed to do with DPW, is all that work going to be done by the time you're ready to be up and running with the annex building?
Steve, do we know the answer to that?
No, the crosswalk, the pedestrian crosswalk ramps will not be done prior to us needing a certificate of occupancy. The certificate of occupancy, we will be ready for issuance in, like, by the second week in April. So that's like 2 weeks away, or
Okay.
2.5 weeks away. So
7 and 8.
what the city, what Liz and others in that meeting said was they're holding funds, home funds from this project, and that, you know, that's enough to sort of, you know, satisfy or at least hold us accountable to, you know, getting those crosswalks done.
We only ask you that because we have permit conditions that say they need to be done before
Right.
you're done. So we want to make sure when we're doing this modification that we're taking out those roadblocks for you.
Correct.
Because
Right.
those are unnecessary. So to Paula's point, if we take out 7 and 8 in a modification and just say 7 and 8 to be done, or 7 and 8 to be reevaluated, and not part of, or not to be a hindrance with issuance of the final occupancy permit. I'm not writing these down, by the way.
Yeah.
You might have to
We'll
watch the
figure
meeting.
out the verbiage, but that's the
Yeah.
idea
Yeah.
about, again, excluding the sidewalk and the aspects of it so that you can get your COs. And then
Yeah, and
revisit.
I also don't know, Steve, is all the landscaping going to be done too?
I think you look like, when I was there, you looked like you were mostly done, but
Most of the landscaping is done. The landscaping at the annex is not done, but that will be done when weather permits. I mean, we have a plan to landscape that similarly to BF and the stables. So
it's technically
You know,
not an
basic-
offsite improvement, so that's not a problem. Landscaping is not an offsite improvement, so that doesn't violate that permit condition.
Right, but is there another one? Just checking.
Well, so that's permit condition 20. It just says to be done under the 181-547. So there's no timing for that.
Okay.
Which there shouldn't be, because we often get done things in the middle of winter, and landscaping is not something you can do in the
Right.
middle of winter. So.
Well, oftentimes we'll say within, 6 months or a certain time frame of occupancy so that there's a date and hopefully it gets through a winter time frame.
But for the purpose of this
But
one,
for
it
this
doesn't look
purpose
like
of
it's an
this, it's not listed, so this shouldn't be an issue. Again, shouldn't be a roadblock to
Great, thank you.
the CO. This is what we're just trying to make sure, so ask now. Review now.
Oh, so the other condition, and this may be just minor, but condition number 6, provision for maintenance of covered bicycle rack on the property. So again, it's not an off-site thing, but we ended up, rather than have an exterior bike rack, we incorporated bike storage inside the building. So we are not planning on having an exterior bike rack, but there's an entire room in the building that is for bike storage for residents. So
I know we talked about that before, so.
Okay, that's fine. We can add it, even if it's been covered before.
I know it was talked about.
Remove
so
permit condition 6 as bike storage
Well, it wasn't
located in the
removed,
building.
it was just, it was met.
That's fine.
You just have to read the rest of the permit. Intersections waiver, section 9.5, so waiver of exterior covered bike rack provision as interior bicycle pairing provide. It was already
I see it, it's
modified.
the last one, yep. Section 9.5.
So that's already set. It's in the September 8th, 2020 vision. We can put a clarification on that.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that we restated the permit condition, and it was a permit condition we waived, but so be it.
There was so many changes.
I know.
Had to restate it because
I know.
there's a lot of waivers. There was also, when we get into bedrooms, this is where we start off with that too.
Yep. You want to do those now?
Yep.
The other two are easy. You want to just
Wait,
go
before
over
the
the other
board-
two modifications that you're requesting? I know Steve,
Wait,
if-
before we do that,
Oh,
let's just
sorry.
ask if any board members have any more questions on the sidewalk. So the pieces are to modify the CO portion of it, the off-street, off-site improvements between for the sidewalk improvements, to extend those out and don't let them hold up for the CO, but still keep it accountable in the
In the, yeah, agreed.
however it gets, get worked out. But keep tabs on it. All right, so, okay, next section. Bedrooms?
you want to just give us the gist of the bedroom?
Yep, Steve, can you do that? And Paul, I can hear but for some reason I can't hear you very well, which is part of why I
know,
can't.
and I don't even have the computer in front of me. I just can't get the speaker close enough. I don't know.
Thank you.
Sorry. Hopefully this is better.
So I can give just a brief explanation of the bedroom modification. So we have 3 two-bedroom units that currently are configured to have another room, which was not legally a bedroom because it didn't have a closet, but it was more of a den. And we wanted to modify 3 units that were currently built as 2 bedrooms to be 3-bedroom units. So we would create a closet and provide the required natural light into those 3 bedrooms, which would allow us to legally consider them 3-bedroom units. So it would be a total of 3. I think 2 are at BF Brown and 1 is in the annex.
Okay. And I'll clarify this. In the modification,
I got it up right there. It's
dated
not-
September 8th, 2020.
Yeah,
Right.
24 one-bedroom.
Fantastic. Thank you.
36 two-bedroom, 7 3-bedroom.
So the current is the 118. So we're looking at changing the 36 two-bedroom to 34 and upping the 7 3-bedroom to 9, right?
10.
No, two-bedroom, only 2.
No, yep, convert 3.
Oh, 3 two-bedroom units, thank you. So, all right, my math is off then. So it's 33 and 10.
Yeah, 33 and 10.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking at my email, and I'm seeing 2-bedroom units, but it's 3 two-bedroom units into 3.
So it's, Steve, it's 33 two-bedroom and 10 3-bedroom now, correct? Minus 3 plus 3, right?
Right.
That's what we're
Yes,
doing?
correct, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what we want to look to change that to. One
And
studio,
Paula, just so you
24
know,
one-bedroom, 33 two-bedroom, and 10
if you just,
three-bedroom for a total of 118 still.
no, if you decide to spell it out, there'll be 3 more bedrooms, so it'll be 121.
Oh, bedrooms, not units, thank you. Why do we go from
I
bedrooms
don't know
into
why that
units?
permit condition says the total number of bedrooms. That must have been a 40R thing. I don't know. But regardless,
Yeah.
just so you know, the number of bedrooms would have to change too. So you can, you could take that thing, but that line that I have up there, but basically it's going to say increase from 118 to 121.
21, yeah.
and 36 three-bedroom, oh, excuse me, 33 three-bedroom, two-bedroom, and 10 three-bedroom.
Yep. And that goes across all three buildings, the stable, this BF, and annex. Is that correct? That would be correct. Or Steve?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the whole project, correct. That's across the stables, the annex, and BF Brown.
We still ended at 68 units, though, right? No unit change.
Yeah, no change in the units. It's still 68 units, right?
Just making sure.
Yep. Is there any of the board members have any?
I do have one question on the extra bedrooms, Mark.
Yes.
The 3 rooms that you want to convert to bedrooms, do they currently have windows, or are new windows going to have to be cut into them to supply the natural light?
I don't think, I'm just going to ask the expert to answer that one. Steve?
Sure. So we will be cutting in a new window into a bedroom. So it is basically we're borrowing natural light, which meets code. So there's a window adjacent to that bedroom, and we will be cutting in sort of an interior window into that bedroom to create the required natural light.
Nothing to the outside walls.
Nothing to the exterior?
Nothing to the outside, correct.
That's really the only thing I was worried about, was the exterior look of the building.
No, we're not changing anything there. It would just be, cutting an interior window in that bedroom, basically to create the natural light that's required.
Sounds good.
Okay, you want to go on to the next one?
Yep.
Paul?
And then the next request for modification is the 40-hour affordability language. I'm just trying to look it up. Affordable units.
So that must be in
Yeah.
the original permit? I don't see it in this one, unless I'm missing it.
Yeah, it could be in the original permit.
Steve, do
I
you
see
know?
it at least under restated conditions on,
All right, restated conditions, I didn't get that far on the restated.
Oh, it's
okay.
under,
Okay, so it says with at least 70% designated as affordable
yes,
units.
number 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's changing condition number, well, back to 3 again. We're actually still changing that one with the number, so
Oh, yeah, and we
It's the
also
same
have
condition.
the bedrooms listed there, which,
the same one.
yeah, which I guess you don't have to change if you make a general statement that the total bedrooms are changing, but it's up to you. Because you're not going to restate all these permit conditions in the new modification, are you?
No,
Yeah, no, we'll just do
we're just going to
the
reflect
permit
back to,
changes.
just reflect back.
Yeah,
to
so what needs to change, if so the rest of the board is aware, because we had talked about this when we met on site, that for whatever reason, our permit actually says how many affordable units there are, and you guys have been on the board, we don't generally get involved in that, because it's
Well,
not a
it
plan.
is because it's 40 hours.
Right, I understand, but that being said, it doesn't need to be a permit condition just for future reference, it's contained in our ordinance, so, but we listed the number of designated affordable units. Because this is finalized, do you know the number? Can we just change the number?
I believe 40R is 20%,
20%.
right, Steve?
20%.
I have the
20%, yes.
citations here. 20% of all dwelling units constructed in a development project, 13 units or larger in size shall be affordable units, provided, however, elderly persons and/or persons with disabilities, 25% of the dwelling units shall be affordable units, and that the total number of affordable units within the entire smart growth district equals not less than 20%, so minimum 20%.
And I think what
Maybe say
our
minimum.
attorney was, I think what our position on this was, is this a planning condition or a zoning condition? And it doesn't, and what we want to be able to say is this is something that's in there because of the, we don't have to come back to the planning board again, because it's part of the zoning already, so it doesn't need to be in the planning board. Is that correct, Steve?
Right. It's just, the issue that the attorney raised was we didn't want it to be greater than the 40R requirement of 20%.
And just so you know how this all plays out, this all plays out in the disaster scenario where there's a foreclosure taking place. The lender, in this case Mass Housing, says we will comply with 40R, but we don't have to go back to the plan. And you know, this restriction is in our financing documents, and they don't have to come back to the planning board in order to do their foreclosure. So that's what they're getting at here. So they say the city's protected because it's in the 40R zone, and that part is part of this, but they don't want to have to come back to the planning board in order to foreclose in a disastrous situation. They need to be able to sell the project under the 40R conditions.
So the reason why it's probably stated here is because it was provided to the board at the time that that's what you were desiring is 70%. So that's why it's above and beyond the 20, why it's a condition. That's why. But now we certainly can revisit that and say, just go to what the ordinance requires minimum, which gives you the flexibility to at least meet the minimum and at least meet the minimum.
Correct. Right. In our documents that the city is a part to has this other requirement. So that's how I think that's how it got missed all the way through, is that it wasn't until the lender's attorney looked at, way farther down the road than where we were. They said, hey, this shouldn't be in the planning board condition.
Now, you're still looking to do more than 20%?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
Yeah,
traditionally, we would leave that out in its entirety. I mean,
I
quite honestly,
understand, but
it doesn't need to be in there either way.
It would be, it's in there because they desire, because it was
No,
presented.
I know. I'm saying,
But we just have to,
I'm
but
saying
now
we don't even
we can
need
walk
the
that back.
20% minimum in there.
No.
It's a statutory requirement. It's not.
Correct.
It's not a planning board requirement. So-
Correct.
But if
We could actually just remove it, but we could just say minimum in accordance with X, Y, Z of the ordinance.
if it's safe, yeah.
Or just in accordance with the ordinance, that's all like that.
Yes, that would be
Affordability.
perfect.
Rather than state a percentage, we can just reflect it back to the ordinance.
Yes, I think that would be safe. Steve, is that your understanding as well?
Yes, thanks.
Does any board member have any question or that, or?
Good?
All right, so
That makes sense.
reflect back to the ordinance. That was recently updated in 40R, so I don't have the most current one in front of me either, so, but we'll get that citation right.
Just very quickly, just because I don't want that to get too muddied. Should it say revise the 70% designated affordable unit figure to the amount as required by 40R? And the only reason why I say that is our ordinance could change over time.
That's why I said it's just going to
Okay,
reflect back.
not by our zoning ordinance, but by 40R itself.
No, just by our
Okay.
ordinance. Reflect back to our ordinance.
Okay. Oh, okay. Whatever. I don't care.
That's our governing document for at this point.
Are you good, Paula? Can we?
Yep, I'm
move
good
this?
with that. So is there any other changes? So we're looking to change condition 3, subject to the development of no greater than 68 residential units with the breakdown, and we're going to change that breakdown to add in for the number of bedrooms to 121, 1 studio, 24 one-bedroom, 33 two-bedroom, 10 three-bedroom, for still a total of 68 units. Modify the language that says with at least 70% designated as affordable units, just to remove the 70% and just in accordance with the affordability requirements in 40R 181, City of Fitchburg. We'll be modifying number 25 of the off-site improvements to be completed no later than 1 year after issuance of the first certificate of occupancy.
It says first building permit on the number 20.
We've already changed it, though.
Oh, okay.
Yep. We
I forgot about the.
Yeah.
I forgot about the subsequent
There's a
one.
subsequent one.
Yep.
Certificate of occupancy to exclude conditions 7 and 8, which will be evaluated within 18 months
I would just say upon completion of sewer separation and road
I
and
wouldn't even say
sidewalk
that, just be
repavement.
reevaluated.
Okay, I just meant just so that everyone knows why we did it, but that's fine, everyone can watch the meeting, whatever. And then I think Chantel, though it might not specifically be put in there, I think that you can convey that it's the board's intention that the purpose of excluding 7 and 8 is so as to not impair issuance of occupancy permit for the annex. So because we don't want to get in the way of, the progress of the actual buildings getting filled up, so.
Yes, and maybe we'll even modify that number 25, because it doesn't specifically, it just says certificate of occupancy, doesn't say for which buildings.
Well, if it says first certificate of occupancy, like it said first building permit, it would be the first occupancy permit given, which would have been the.
Well, then it would all still be withheld because they're not done the annex building,
Right.
Right, kind of like that.
Right. No, you can change, we can change that however you want to make it.
So I just want to
easier.
make sure that, it just covers what's already been done aspect. So we'll just be focusing on the annex building about the occupancy and the sidewalk. And on at least on number 7, applicant to incorporate the ADA detectable mats as crosswalks in design. That one is like, well, whether or not we want to put per DPW or just reflect, so that there'll be some type of plan.
To the satisfaction of DPW engineering is probably how I word it, or the commissioner. Yep, because that's already been negotiated apparently, so.
Something like that line. Okey-doke.
I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
All right. This is not a hearing, just want to protect, it is a minor site plan approval underneath the 40R provisions. There has been a motion with a second. We'll take roll call vote. Actually, because it's not a hearing, so it's nothing to close. Roll call vote to approve the modifications as presented. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed. Peter?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Paula? Aye. Amanda?
Aye.
Alin?
Aye.
Okay. All right. I hope
Thank
that
you, Mark.
works.
Okay, thank you very much.
This out.
We'll work with
Thank you.
DPW, and we'll, hopefully won't have to wait for 18 months on this. We can.
Good luck.
sooner.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
All right. Our next item, we do have our hearing segment. We have scheduled a special permit and site plan review for a multifamily development at 0 Fairmont Street. This was by AG Dreamflip LLC, which has requested continuation from our last meeting as well. This project has gone on. I just took a look. It was presented in March of 2024. So it's been over a year now. I know they had a lot of hurdles to go through with Concom and such. So, but in that vein, they were looking to continue it. But in the interest, notices did go out to residences. We had them republish the hearing a month ago, which again asked for a continuance. But notices were sent out by the office, the postcards to abutters. So if there's anybody here for 0 Fairmont Street, either here or online, we want to take some testimony. Only fair that we want to make sure that we put the word out here, and it's gone on so long, so we want to make sure we get everybody its input.
And just so everyone knows, I did convey to the applicant, we were going to be fair and we were going to let people speak if they want to speak. I also have the plans, which I can put up on the screen. We can get some comment if anyone has any comments about stuff. Perfect. And so I'll put someone raised their hand. So I'll put the plan up on the screen. We can only tell you what you see up on the screen because even we haven't seen the developer yet. The engineer did reach out and said that it was beyond their control why they couldn't come today. The engineer was ready to come today, but they for whatever reason, couldn't control it. So it says, the request says, on behalf of AG Dreamflip, we're requesting a continuance to the next available meeting, which would be the end of April. But again, we can talk if people want to talk about it. So that would be April. I do not even have April meeting in my calendar. 22nd?
Yeah.
Yes, 22nd.
Paul, just so you know, there was somebody's hand raised, but
Yep.
nope, it's down.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, we'll ask for that.
Okay, let me
Let him pull it up on the
pull the
screen.
plan up, and we can zoom in as best we can. If you bear with me for 1 second. And we can show, I can tell you what the engineer had told me on the phone, that some of the things they added that we had asked, they had added the location of the multifamily property just to the right of it, which is located right here, in relation to the edge of their site, and they added the setback distances, which I believe comply with setback in the district.
So it should be, well, for multifamily, 50 feet, and I think they got 47 from what I read. So it was we'd be asking the developer if they're looking for that 3-foot waiver.
Okay, all right. I think I might have been just looking at the side setback in the district, which is 15 feet.
Now, also in the notice, it says consisting of 5 units. It's actually, it looks like 6 units. So there are 3 two-family, 3 duplexes being proposed. So it's a total of 6 units, 2 per each of the 3 buildings. There looks like there is also a single family, but that is going to be on a separate lot that is owned, that will be split off. So it's not part of this multifamily development. It was just going to be more of a by right.
For anyone that wants to know where the single family is, I'm sure you all can picture it, the flat area where, kind of where the memorial, the World War II monument is. There's an area that is just like gravel that's flat. That's roughly where that single family home is going to be. And as Paula said, that's by right, meaning that doesn't require planning board approval if they subdivide it. So what we're predominantly looking at is the 6, the 3 two-family buildings. So 3 2-unit buildings or 6 units.
So they provided, looks like there'll be a garage for each one, and they provided additional exterior parking spaces. So there's a total of, was it 12 parking spaces plus the garage?
Yep, they did turnarounds and some guest parking too.
So that's an emphasis that the board likes to put is on visitor parking as well. There is also, let's see, we understand by Depot Street, there's a fence to be replaced before the bridge that's in some terrible condition over there. So we asked for that to be put on the plan. So that should be like vinyl coated fence.
I think I can pull up the pictures, though everyone is aware. I think my suggestion for that will be a new, the black chain link, okay, that's what you meant.
That's what I meant, vinyl coated black chain link metal.
Perfect.
Black.
Because an actual vinyl fence will not survive.
Correct.
There.
No, not a vinyl fence.
Yeah.
Vinyl coated black chain link.
All right.
And they said with a gate. It's already on the plan.
Perfect.
I
Excellent.
believe that. And then what else was there?
I got my notes here.
There was an old like pump station of some sort in the back 9 of the property that's abandoned. So apparently there's an issue with the Conservation Commission. We wanted kind of that decommissioned, but we want to make sure that it's still decommissioned.
Yeah, I mean, we have
Fashion,
time.
they could do that.
We have time between this meeting and next week, and maybe you or I could reach out to Joyce to see what Concom. I was told, I told Paula, I was told by the engineer, I think, that Concom really didn't want any work within the wetland area, so they didn't want that building to be touched, the pump station.
There's an access road to the back towards it, but I'm not sure to what degree it would be the disturbance, but that's something to be
So here's,
looked at.
although everyone here that's in a butter probably is well aware what we're talking about, here is, resume share. Here's the fence that we were talking about, the one at the depot, at the bridge, depot in Fairmont, and then, that's wrong property. Hold on, bear with me. Oh, I took that the other day, hold on. Right here. And then this is the pump station, the old, which I had asked Chris Anderson, if, that's the memorial too, if they believe it has been decommissioned, and he said he believes it's decommissioned, so it's just kind of sitting there, but, so,
We had some no trespassing signs or something along it, but
yeah.
So that would just stay there? Is that what you're wondering?
that's going to be on the parcel. So if you look at on how it's to be split, it's still going to be on the large parcel for the multifamily.
The duplexes.
The duplexes. It's just way in the back and not really not accessible, at least through the duplexes. The only way would be through that chain link fence, potentially. Well, railroad tracks. It's way because it's way in the back.
It's, I assume it's here somewhere?
There's a little block. I can't really see it, Mike.
I don't even see it. I don't even see the block on here. I might be missing it, but,
It's probably, is it where the circle is to the right?
well, that's what I thought, but it says,
What is
that
it?
says
Inlet?
OCS in out,
Okay.
unless it's on the far side of this one.
Oh, that little building?
Right here, existing
Yeah,
fence, yeah.
that way.
So, I mean,
Okay. So it's there. We're not exactly sure what the remedy is, other than acknowledging its existence.
I mean, quite honestly, Chantel, maybe you can just talk to Herlen and just say, you know, what is the appetite for Concom? If planning really wants it gone, you know, what is the appetite for Concom to work, at least just demo and get out of there? I don't know. Because it'd be a shame to do this and then have a building that
Yeah.
is just going to deteriorate more, and
And it's not-
it's an eyesore.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah,
if
and
it's
you
really
don't-
not being used, then it really shouldn't be there. And I told the engineer as much. I know we said in a meeting, and I told him when I talked to him recently that my preference is that it's gone. The
And making
fence.
sure any equipment that is in there is been, you know, decommissioned, severed, or whichever. I'm going to confirm that.
Yep.
So we've got that to look at. Do you want to pull up, it may be helpful to folks to see a rendering?
Do I have in the
It's in
prior folder?
Yeah, it's in the prior folder.
Yes. Let's see. Elevations, duplex design.
Not that bad.
I think that was all. Hold on.
I think there are 3-bedroom units.
Yeah.
So on the side, looks like it's,
That's the front, side, rear, other side.
so no windows on the sides of the building, but
Which blows my mind, but at the
I
same
know,
time,
it's kind
at
of-
the same time, there's not a lot of windows on the side of a lot of properties, but still, you'd think there'd be a couple. But at the same time, that's beneficial for the ones on the right because you don't have, you know,
Building.
that intrusion factor of
Right.
that one abutter, so.
the only other one is, there's one that's, the side is facing the street, I guess, but they do plan on putting some landscaping in between
Mm-hmm.
for that. And this is a hearing. If they have any questions, and we can pass along, or concerns, we can do that. I do. That's great.
Mike Kuchar, Sheldon Road, beautiful West Fitchburg. I'm not in a butter. My mother lives up the hill from this neighborhood, so I see it all the time. And I grew up, you know, playing out there because of the railroad tracks and everything. But I can't believe, that somebody's building there. And I'm glad because it's been a kind of a blighted, crappy area for Fairmont Street for a long time. My question and concern, and you brought up that picture of Depot and Fairmont where the fence is.
Mm-hmm.
Are they doing any kind of site improvement for that line of sight for traffic? Because you come up Depot and take a left on Fairmont, especially.
No, that
The problem
island,
is the alignment of the bridge. The bridge goes this way, so when you come around that corner, you can't see cars coming down.
Right, but when you go up that little section of, it's not even Depot
Yeah.
anymore, but onto Fairmont,
Yeah.
when that knotweed starts flowering and you really have to pull almost halfway out to see anything. So I don't know if it's in their plans, if you know that they're going to.
no, we can put in
that.
about keep vegetation, beat the vegetation back to the fence, like, don't have it grow past the fence.
I know you cut knotweed, it keeps coming back.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know if they had a plan in there. or
So
you-
they're not doing the development's all on the other far side of the lot?
Right, but
You're
do they
talking
own
1,000 plus
They
feet?
own all that property all the way to the
Yeah.
fence?
Do, yep.
So the plan isn't, they're not going to really improve that, or you don't know?
Probably not the street on the side.
Well, I'm just
What we
talking
can
about
do
the
about is
vegetation.
vegetation, like, if, do you want to pull up the street view?
Yeah.
So I went back to the
Oh,
photo.
here we
This is
go.
a photo from today. So,
That corner there, but that, of course, the other problem, that's where the brook comes through, too.
yeah, so the only thing we had discussed is them removing this fence and putting a new 6-foot chain link vinyl coated fence.
Yeah.
Along that frontage. That's the only thing we discussed, but I can see what you're talking about. I mean, you can see all the dead
Yeah, right now you can
vegetation
see
here.
it, but
Yeah.
when summer
Well, we-
comes and,
We can say remove vegetation out to the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I know they can't use herbicide there because,
Well, there's
water's
also,
right there.
it's what else they can and can't do because of the wetland aspect
yeah,
of
then it'll
that.
be on the
About
Concom.
that, yeah.
And I was going to say, I do know the Concom has been dealing with knotweed. I watched their meetings, and I know they've had this conversation
Yeah,
before.
I've talked to Mike Donnelly about
Yeah, so, I mean, I know they had some test cases, and, this might be something that they might have interest in, but I know
it's
there
more
are,
of a safe, traffic safety thing.
yeah,
Especially
yeah.
There's more traffic with houses there, too.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the big issue there is you really need that bridge to turn like 20 degrees that way, so you have a straight view coming up.
Yeah.
Because I hear you, it's
It's a
brutal.
crazy intersection.
Yeah, it's not an easy one, that's for sure.
And getting someone to adopt the island.
Yeah.
I had it about 5-6 years ago, and with my cousin Andrew.
Thank you.
Well, and now we don't have it, and then I want to take it back because it needs a lot of work.
It
And
doesn't look terribly bad.
it's
They
not
look-
bad right now.
Yeah.
But then I was talking to Nick, and he said, well, they might be doing some road work, so I don't do anything with the island. And
They actually, if I zoom in close, they cut some. If I go back, you could see they actually cut all the way to the fence. This was summer of 23, August 23.
Right.
So at
But
some
this is
point,
25, so it'll be back.
Oh, definitely. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying someone was cutting it. I don't know if it was the city
Oh,
or
that
if it
looks
was.
good.
It was probably the city.
Yeah, because
property
nobody owns
owner.
there's no property owners to deal with
I
that.
recommend putting in a C-click fix ticket with a photo
Yeah.
in the location. Well, this is how you
I know,
have
I
to
know.
document and getting some things like noticed, where there are pieces like that. Because we can put it in as a condition, however, depending if it's on city property, but we can still have them try to monitor
Right.
it, but it's like, I don't know about the likelihood of it actually getting done.
I mean, I know, up where I live, we do all our own corners, because, I know they're stressed out and undermanned.
There is a city code regarding site distance of 20 feet at intersections on like a triangle aspect that you should be able to see.
Yeah, and I didn't think
Keeping
about it
vegetation
until,
low and
the other
black.
day when I was getting some rain or snow, and I was really nosing out and almost didn't make it because somebody truck was blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the big issue with this, looking at it now, well, it's twofold. One, that is within the public way, almost certainly. And two, more importantly, even if we make it a permit condition, the unit owners who are going to own most of that are going to be either the single family, which I have some hope might go down there, but they're still five to
Yeah, they're
1,000
way
feet
up.
away.
Yeah, they're probably.
And then you're talking about the 6 two-families, if they get built, I was just going to do the math, but it's a long way away from there.
Yeah, that's up on where Leroy and Newtonville and everything comes in.
Yeah, so you're talking.
It might, have a better chance if it was right in front of them to keep it up. But since it's not,
Yeah,
we all try to do our part, but I'd say, we have to keep bringing it back up to attention about that.
Yeah, I do.
And appreciate everyone's efforts for cleaning things up and beautification is important.
We'd whack it out or something.
Yeah.
But, and
No, it's a good point, though.
Another note, you brought up we used to call it the bomb shelter, but that's the pump
the
house.
shed? Ah, there we go.
It's been there forever.
Yeah.
It's not just it's a shelter sometimes, so that's another thing. I've seen people in and out of there.
It's part of the reason why I think it needs to go is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you may want to bring that up to the Concom about why you really want it out of there.
Yeah.
I think it's a safety thing, and it's definitely going to be blight for people that are going to be moving in there to see that thing.
So even if it's not, it needs to be dismantled.
Yeah,
Even if you're not pulling the parts out, you got to take it down.
all right. That's it.
And then, I noticed there was a gate there. It looks like, at one points of time, people drive it and dump stuff. So that was another part of trying to keep the fence
Yeah,
up and out of there.
That gate, well, it's locked now, but I've gone by. I go there because my mother lives up the hill, so I'm always driving
Yep.
by there. Every few months, the gate's, busted open. So
Thank you.
I'm sure they'll take care of it.
We do have a hand raised when you're ready, Paula.
Great.
Cheryl, you're welcome to speak.
Name
You
show.
have to hit the microphone button. Nothing's coming through yet. I see you're unmuted, but we can't hear anything. Cheryl's unmuted and the microphone button is actually up, but nothing's coming across.
Great try. I just want to mention, so in the past, this area on Fairmont Street, it's pretty much, all the wetland, was zoned industrial. So only industrial could go there by right. So in the past, there's been a long ago permit for divvying it up and doing some type of development there, which after that time, it got rezoned to residential because it's like, there's not really a suitable location for industrial right there, particularly across the street from all the residences to put an industry right there. So it got rezoned to, I think, Res B, which is what it is across the street, in order to be making sure it's more compatible with the neighborhood. So this is why we're seeing a development proposal of a multifamily.
So just, and this is a question for Chantel, I guess, was just typed wrong in the public hearing, the 5 units, 1 single, 2 duplexes, because the actual notice that went to our department head says 7 units, 1 single, 3 duplexes.
I think that was their original proposal, so I got to correct it.
So it's actually just 6 units. It's
Right.
6
Right.
with 3 duplexes.
Right, the multifamily approval
The
is-
single family is not part of it.
Yeah, okay.
Single family would just be an A&R when the time
Right.
comes.
Well, yeah, her hand's raised again.
Yep. Cheryl, you can try again. Yep. Just hit the microphone button. If
Oh, there you go.
for whatever reason it doesn't work this time,
Is there something you could type in?
she can hear us. I'm sure she's
But she
been
could
watching
type in the
meeting.
chat. Can she?
Oh yeah, I mean,
question?
so you can use. Oh, there's no chat in Zoom.
Thank you.
My suggestion would be to log out and then try and log back in. Sometimes that helps the issue. Or just make sure that there's a microphone actually plugged in to your computer, because we can't hear anything. While she's figuring that out, is anyone else here for this?
Any questions regarding this one? We'll be talking about it again because it'll be continued.
And we do probably, I know we made it a permit condition forever ago, and I think we've talked about it, and I'm sure they're open to it, but we really should figure out a way to relocate that World War II memorial, because it's literally sitting on the side of the street. You could probably find a better home for it, but that's a little beyond. I mean, I think that goes back, I remember talking about that when Mike Hurley was on the board, I believe. So we've talked about it before, definitely. So.
Even if it's in the island.
Yeah, I mean, either way, there's got to be a better place for it that someone at the city can.
If there is a significance to that particular area, or can it be,
possibility.
appropriate?
Yep. At the very least, I'd like it moved just a tiny bit off the road, just so it doesn't get hit by a plow someday, because it's literally only 4 feet off the road, maybe 3 feet off the road. So.
Well, it was covered in brush before, so now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When they did the emergency stormwater work, whenever it was recently, they cleaned out a bunch of that area. I think it was last fall or summer. They cleaned out some of that brush there. So,
And
all right, hold on one second. Cheryl has tried another computer, it looks like, or another login. All
Is there a
right.
phone number we can dial? No? Okay. Again, I'm not the techie.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that one's working either, Cheryl. I see you in here twice. You're unmuted on both of them, but we're not getting anything.
How about we can, she wants to try later on in the evening, if you want to stick around. We've got a few more items to do, and we can come back.
Yeah, so my suggestion, Cheryl, is one of two things. Either we can try and follow up with you if you think you can figure out the microphone issue, or because we have time between this meeting and when we're actually going to meet with the applicants, even if you can't make it, if you want to send an email to our principal planner, you can just Google Fitchburg Planning Board or Fitchburg Principal Planner, and Chantel's name and email address will come up. You can email something to her about your comments tonight, or, like I said, if you, for whatever reason, you can't make it in the future, just give us written comments, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm sorry the hybrid piece isn't working out. For everyone, anyway. Aside from Cheryl, anybody else have any comment, question? Well, we have nobody ask it to, but. Okay. All right, that being said, there is a request for continuance to our April, what you said, the 20?
22nd.
Request to continue. Is that, someone make a motion?
I'll make a motion to continue to April 22nd.
Is there a second?
Second.
With a second? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed. Peter?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Paula? Aye. Amanda?
Aye.
Lynn?
Aye.
Okay, continued. Thank you for coming out tonight.
And just for the record,
It's been a year, and we've had no public comment.
just for the record, and just so I don't say next month, was there DPW comment? There is, but it just says that you can get the stormwater application online now. I just wanted to, in case we watch this back.
Anything else?
That's the only department comment.
Okay. Our next item on the agenda is a special permit and site plan review. The applicant, Ed McSweeney of Townsend Realty Trust, is proposing a PUD, a planned unit development located at 0 Townsend Street. This, though, they have requested continuance from February to our March meeting. And I know, they have requested a continuance, but if you'd like to do some public comment, we'd probably like to hear from you.
Was there
An
anything, did
opportunity
you
we'd
want
like
to,
to-
did you want to speak?
Or we don't know what else they're changing around at this point in time, but if there's something we'd like to convey to them, we could.
I'll make one comment.
Okay.
Only because the people, I'm sorry, first. Hi, Ron Cody, 620 Townsend Street. Neighbors are talking, and we're trying to figure out, one of the main concerns right now is the water runoff.
Water enough, okay.
From what I see, there's some kind of retention system being built into the road, but all that, whatever's going to happen, is going to go under the road to across the street. And theoretically, that's supposed to go to the brook. But if you all walk down there, there's nothing flowing to that brook. So neighbors across the street are concerned about getting flooded.
Okay.
What are they going to do about that? That's the one principal thing that's coming up right now.
All right.
That's from what our neighbors were saying. My concern now is about how far, is it going to be clear cut to the borderline, to the property back to the Townsend Street properties? Is it going to be all clear cutted? Is that yes or a no?
It should, to your property line, there should be a buffer.
Not mine, but my neighbors and the two others going towards the Eastern Club.
Okay.
Are they cutting all the woods right down to 0?
So are you saying where the driveway is proposed
The
to come in?
driveway's coming in.
And then it goes behind, are they going to clear back to their property
Are they
line?
going to clear back right to the property line?
So it might be tough for you to see there, but they do list a limit of disturbance here. Basically, where you see these wavy tree lines,
Yeah.
those stay. So it goes like this. This all stays on the other side of this. It goes around and then down around the stormwater management area and goes around this way to this property
That's
line.
the old picture.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
that's
he's
the new
looking,
picture of the
but you're looking at the wall, like right behind Paul, where you see the, like, he says, like.
The retaining wall?
dividing- Exactly.
That
So
will be
there's-
cleared.
So there's proposing, like, right behind that neighbor to do a retaining wall and then put some type of landscaping or something.
Where the
above that.
Aphrodite's,
Where the arborvitae's are, yeah.
Aphrodite row is, that's the border. So they're going to clear cut right down to the border.
Yep.
Isn't that the wall?
Then they're going to put a wall, they're putting some kind of a 6-foot wall to the left where the road is, a 6-foot wall, build up and go down to a 4-foot wall to my neighbor, they put Aphrodite's. But they're going to clear cut that whole thing right down to nothing.
So from this property line to this curly line, this will be cleared. And then between here and this property line, this stays.
Well, that line that goes straight up to the, on the right-hand side,
Yep, this one.
that one there, that's me.
Yep, so that's the buffer there, so that's supposed
Now,
to. say, but as you see, the buffer
Your
ends.
property line's actually off this page. That's not the dotted line. That's the end of the page. So your property line's a little to the right of that.
A little to the right.
But it doesn't show on this sheet, so let me see if I can find it on one of the other sheets.
Basic concern is privacy.
Oh, hold on, maybe that,
I mean,
That is his
oh, maybe that
property line.
is. Let me see the aerial.
That's mine. I think that's me right there.
Yeah,
The right-hand side.
I'm just pulling up Townsend Street.
Where are you? Where are we?
This is our GIS. I'm just trying to find,
All right.
here we are. It's easier if I pull up the aerial. All right, so this is, yeah, so this is you right here, the highlighted triangle.
Yeah.
I'll zoom in a little bit. This is you right here, the highlighted triangle. This is the property, and then the buffer. So yours comes up like that. Yeah. So yeah, very few of those trees in that corner remain.
Will not be remaining.
It looks like that. I mean, there's no distance here, but it looks like they're going, within, I don't know, 5-10 feet of that property
So
line.
that could be looked at as saying, no,
Yeah.
you got to put like a 30-foot buffer or something in
I'm gonna lose
between
all
them
my
like
privacy.
that.
Really big concern about that. Bought the house for the privacy.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of speak in generality to your comment about the runoff. So the state, as well as the city of Fitchburg, have stormwater management plans. We have stormwater requirements with these projects that basically say what happens now can continue to happen, but when you do projects like this, the goal is to make it better, but definitely not worse.
Yeah.
So they're designed to be the same or better than what happens now in the same patterns as they happen now, meaning this work that they're doing should theoretically make off-site runoff better than what happens right now.
There shouldn't be any
Go to the sewer main, no,
stormwater,
sewer,
main?
but the
Stormwater?
run water.
I don't know if that, well, let me see.
It looks like, hey, does it go to like a culvert or anything there?
So here's water and sewer. Oh, right here. Yes, it must be the C.
On the right.
Oh, no, that's underground gas.
Your gas line on one side, you got water line on the other side.
We'll have to ask them. I don't know if there is.
I mean, the obvious question for that point, if they're going to go into storm drain,
Well, you see,
Up that
like,
hill.
the driveway's very pitched, too, so it's making, the driveway's pitched. Oh, yeah, exactly. So it's where the runoff is coming from the driveway and where that's going.
it's going to hit
It's
Townsend.
about a 10-foot grade change over the length of the driveway, the whole length of the driveway, from start to finish. Because it's 480 at the base and it's about 490 at the top.
There is
Everything coming off the parking lot and coming all down the hole.
proposed a detention basin.
Yeah, and the swale, the infiltration swale, the temporary
Higher up in the
sedimentation basin.
So there is a plan to catch all that water and put it somewhere otherwise than on the road and across the street to the neighbor flooding their house.
Yeah, they have these storm tech systems. They're basically infiltration systems. They go in the ground, they collect water, and then slowly recharge it into the ground. These are the systems that we often see.
These round tubs they put in, I've been seeing, they fill up and they release slowly. Yeah.
But we can definitely talk stormwater when they're here next time. So it's definitely a good thing for them to give us an overview on.
Now, the scuttlebutt was the water, and the scuttlebutt is the fact that clear cutting right down to the property lines.
Yeah, it is in both properties. It looks like it goes clear cut right back to the property line. Because it looks like
Right down
just the
it.
fence, is there a fence proposed?
Building some kind
There's
of
a
a wall.
Privacy
There's a
fence.
retaining wall with a 4-foot fence on top of it because that's required.
On the-
3-foot fence.
Yeah.
This dark line is a retaining wall.
Yeah. But on the left, it just says privacy fence. It's right on the left.
Yeah, 6-foot vinyl privacy fence is what's on the left
But
hand
it's
side.
all cut back to it.
And that goes in this zigzag pattern this way.
Well, that's what we're looking at right now, until we can have someone to talk to with some
Yeah.
data.
But this is why we have the hearing process. We want to hear from everybody. This helps
Now,
design a project or, this is a special permit, this is not a by right proposal, so
Yep.
it's like whether or not it fits for the neighborhood, and
I know it's got my side of the road all upset.
Gotcha. Thank you for at least
Okay.
saying that. We can get a jump start next month with some of the stuff we want to talk about, so.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, that's all I have to say.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you very
No,
much.
appreciate it. Thank you for coming out this evening.
Good night.
You too.
And someone has a hand raised.
Oh,
Got it. Justine, you can speak if you'd like.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, this is Justin Little, 6 Macintosh Lane in Fitchburg.
Yep.
Just had a quick question. So to my understanding that this property is going to be privately maintained, meaning that the occupants of this development will be paying, I'm assuming, some sort of HOA fee?
Yes, most likely, I would imagine.
So, yeah, I'm just curious, because it is a privately managed area, is this going to be a dumpster unit that's going to be in this complex? And if so, where is that going to be positioned? Because the only area I see where a dumpster could go for all of these sites would actually be in the turnaround spot, which would be impeding traffic flow to that development.
I thought we talked about private totes, but I might be confusing this with another project. We can definitely clarify that. That's a good question.
Yep.
I would expect this project to have private totes just like the city of, not necessarily through the city of Fitchburg because it's a private association, but
Right.
I would expect them to have private totes, their own private tote collection.
Okay, interesting.
and that would be not having an outside dumpster. So that could also be a condition.
Yeah, I can tell you if there's a
that
dumpster,
nature.
the board will be particularly concerned about where it is, and it's not likely. A project this size wouldn't likely have a dumpster.
Not likely,
I would be
but
very surprised.
If there was, we do take note about where it's positioned. We don't want to inconvenience neighbors, but it's like they put it against their back nine, but it's your front, your side yard, and whether or not it's visible from the street and what it looks like, and so no one wants to look at a dumpster all day either
Okay.
in a residential area. So
Yep, good point.
Okay.
anything else you'd like to bring up?
No, I guess I'm assuming that they didn't update this plan because I attended the last meeting and there was supposed to be between the house that's the probably closest to the right and the house to the left of that, there was supposed to be a turnaround as well or a backup area where they were talking about that.
They were all supposed to be pushed back as well, so they should be set further back into the property and not so close.
I can tell you for what it's worth. I don't. Oh no, I'm sorry. These aren't the revised plans.
No.
That was what Pat's email said.
Yeah.
If I'll,
So we have nothing beyond what was originally.
So let me just read what
Submitted.
Justin wrote so that everyone knows. It said the applicant came, this is the engineer, said the applicant came in on Friday with the updated house box and proposed changes for the site. I haven't had a chance to make those changes yet. Since I don't have them done in time for next week's meeting, I'm going to request a continuance to the next scheduled meeting. So the engineer is still working on the revised plans, is the short answer to that question.
Okay, thank you. I missed that.
No, I didn't say it earlier, so
okay.
I'm glad you reminded me to say it. Yeah, no problem.
Yours are usually working, but I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Yep, no, absolutely.
Turnarounds were also on our minds as well for some of these proposed parking driveways where they could actually back out, particularly the unit on the end on the right.
Perfect, thank you.
Right. You're welcome.
Somebody in the audience.
Yep. Oh, sure, certainly. If you want to come up to the podium or the chair, pull it down, pull it down. That's what I do.
Okay, good. Hi, I'm Peggy Blanchard. I'm at 583 Townsend Street, so I'm right across from what would be the roadway, the driveway going up. The gentleman that spoke about the water, that is a huge problem. This is a high-level water table. I think that's right. Yes, lots of water in our ground. God bless you. Most of the houses in this neighborhood have sump pumps. So it may be, well, that's usually just in the spring. No, these are year-round. They are running perpetually. It's not, it's uncommon for not to hear the sump pump several times during the day. That's without changing anything at this point. When I asked a question at the January meeting, what will I be looking at, there was the comment about the trees coming down, and I did send some pictures.
I just brought them up. They're on the screen.
Okay, could we have the fall pictures first, please?
Sure. You tell me when you want me to stop, okay?
Okay.
So I'm just going in the order
Right
that they
there.
were that
Right
I
there.
had them. So
Yes, I'm also not technologically,
So is that
not a preference.
just a view from across the street, what you see?
Yes, I'm in my driveway, yes, I was in my front yard, and this is what I see in the fall. And the maples are gorgeous. I was told that these trees would be cut down. I don't know the borders exactly, but I'm just presenting, this is the real deal. This is what we're talking about. To see it on paper is fine, but this is what trees we're talking about. Would you go to the next one, the underneath, please?
Now, is the driveway proposed to the left of that
So
shed?
I was
I'll show
just
you
looking
that.
at the aerial. So that shed is, hold on, that shed is about,
It's the house that's on the right side of
that shed is about 25 feet, 25 to 27 feet from the property line.
Okay.
So where that picture was, let me get back to the photos, where that picture was, it's, I would assume somewhere kind of over here to the left of that. So
Yes.
So it's basically, you're 25 feet from that shed-ish, and that's the far right-hand side of the entrance to the property. So it's there, and then it's another 50 feet, 50-plus feet to the left of that.
Okay, well, I heard trees, so I'm just showing you all.
No, I'm just trying to orient
Like,
people
so
where
what
it
we're
is.
looking, like, when we say trees taken down, we don't know, oh, that's in the middle of the driveway, so yes,
Right.
it would be, versus if it's behind the
Okay,
property.
yes, these wouldn't be near the driveway. This is,
I was just trying to figure out where this picture is looking.
that one is a little bit closer towards the driveway, but again, it's just the trees.
Yep.
Can you drop the picture down at all to see the taller ones?
Oh,
Okay,
you
I'm
want to
sorry,
see the
go
top?
up.
Yeah.
There. These aren't short little stubby things. These have been there a long time. I've owned my home for 6.5 years, and that's what I've looked at all this time. It's
You know
wonderful.
what used to be there where your house is? Big, tall trees. Trees come down for development. That's what happens with development.
Right, which is probably why there's a high water table,
Very well could be. Yeah.
which is a concern about these coming down,
Yep.
if they do. Okay, and another picture, please. I'll explain it as I go.
All right, I got to go up now because I'm at the
That's fine.
bottom. So this is.
Okay, this is
okay?
where, in this picture, this is where the driveway road would be going on the left side of the telephone pole up behind that shed there's an opening. This is where I would see people coming and going, and finally went out and asked and said, "Hi, who are you and what are you doing?" That's their proposed roadway driveway. The water running down that is going to would affect my yard and the neighbor next to us. There was a comment made, at the conservation meeting by the developer or his engineer that it would be possible to direct the water into that drainage area. That doesn't belong to him. It belongs to the gentleman who owns that house. If it goes into that drainage area, let me put it this way, whatever's in that drainage area for excess water, it now flows into a culvert under the road across the street to my neighbor on my left. It's in his front yard. It then circles around, and it's supposed to head down towards Coolidge Park. If we have a lot of rain like recently, it goes around and behind his house and sits there with the water we have and behind our homes. And he's stated a few times that as a new owner of that home, he's had a flooded basement several times. This is without changing anything. So to have this change with the trees and the 4 houses, which would be 4 washing machines, 4 kitchen sinks, 4 dishwashers, 8 toilets, 4 to 8 showers and tubs, and 8 bathroom sinks. That's a lot of water. Okay, so the another picture. Okay, this is the shed with the beautiful trees in the back that are not in the fall colors, and the snow is all gone now, which is good. This is a picture from last month. These again are the trees. If you go down to another picture, just want to give a visual. All the trees. Okay, that's the same as we saw before. Okay, and this is the White House has the shed, and the house that you can see in between those two right now, you don't see that all year round except when it's winter and the leaves are down. The trees provide a privacy buffer on the noise, the sound, and so they do have the privacy. It'll be very soon, we won't be able to see that. Sounds like the elevation of this proposed development would be coming up, so the view changes. There's more trees there. Are they staying? Are they going? And next picture. It's on the other side.
I think this was, yeah, that's all I have.
That's all you had? Okay.
Hold on. I did have, hold on, I have another group set of photos that I labeled differently, but, so I have these photos, but I thought these were from a different abutter, but they might not be, so maybe these are your photos too. But I have these photos as well, which.
Looks like this.
Oh, this might be from.
Yeah, I have it labeled, hold on. Munzero? That's what I think that's who the email came from, Munezero, because that's what I labeled them as. I think I did this right after our last meeting, so I don't remember exactly.
Well, if the opportunity to speak with your neighbor may be helpful to outline where the culvert is coming across on his property and.
Yeah, this is what she was talking about. This quasi retention area.
Yes.
Right here.
So is that where it goes across the street?
Here's a view from their property looking towards Townsend, Lunenburg, that way.
They've maintained that also. And the proposed driveway road, excuse me, has been maintained for all the years I've seen by the family in the gray house and the previous owner in the White House and the present owner of the White House. Okay. They've just maintained it as if it was their properties coming together. So it's beautiful, and no one knew that there was something behind there that was now.
So this parcel, when it got subdivided, it was a much larger parcel where you see the units across the street, particularly all the ones on the right, all the subdivision with the White House with the barn and, I mean, the shed and all, was part of a larger parcel owned by the developer. So it got split off.
Right.
So now they're left over with this one last lot.
Yes.
And it has reduced frontage on it. So it was approved as at the time they were able to subdivide, were allowed one rear lot. So it has reduced frontage versus the standard frontage for a lot. It's in the RA district, means by right they can do single family. So they could just avoid the special permit process and just put a single family, that'd be a driveway, a single family home to the rear. The zoning ordinance allows someone to present underneath a planned unit development in an RA district, and that's why it's before us to see, at this time, to see whether or not they're trying to put in 3 or 4 units on the parcel, but they are allowed to do at least one by right there.
Okay.
And just to be clear, if they want to build a house and take down every tree on the lot, they can.
Right.
Without our approval, without anyone's approval. So that's why, that, as much as I 100% agree with you, like I want as many trees to remain as humanly possible, they could tomorrow decide we're going to clear cut the lot and all the trees are going to be gone. So it only becomes an issue for our board if they decide to sell it, because we have a timber harvesting provision. But if they clear for development, they can just clear
at least at least within a special permit, that's is where you can say no. You can extend the buffers and make buffers and put in other contingencies as part of the design and require it, versus it being a straight out development.
Okay.
So there is some form of flexibility when you do a special permit to put in those other protect provisions and take all a butter's concerns into effect for the whole project
Okay.
too.
We do have a lot more control with special permits.
Right.
We can make conditions that run with the land forever, meaning we can make conditions that, I don't have it up on the screen now, but what we were just talking about that far left corner, this is on the neighbor's property with that depression we were talking about. So what their suggestion is to do the infiltration system at the end of the driveway to collect all the runoff coming off the driveway into their infiltration system, which means it will handle it in the ground on the site. Their intention is to offset runoff into that, maybe not in its entirety, but hopefully to a point that's better than today. And something like that might not be a requirement if they put one house there. That is a requirement if they put more than one house there. So I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying there's some trade-offs that we deal with, and we definitely have more control with multiple single-family homes on larger sites like this.
It's like there should be their request to keep a buffered vegetation between the lots in the front to what they're proposing. Yeah, that could be that could be looked at to what they're proposing.
I'm hoping when they come back, I know I mentioned it, and it didn't occur to me till just now, but I mentioned them to do a colorized plan showing where the limits of work is so that we can all get a better idea of what's going to be cleared, what's not going to be cleared. Yes. And hopefully we have a better picture when we see new plans, because as everyone reminded me, these are the plans we had back in January. So
Okay.
hopefully when the engineer gets new plans, you look a little bit different and take into account some of the stuff we talked about.
I'll say what's a little different that we normally see on these planned unit developments, mostly we see condominiums, so we see a duplex all the time. So at least in this instance, they're looking to do single-family homes in part of an HOA versus them being like a multifamily, like two-bedroom condominiums scenario.
Okay.
So at least what's being proposed is at least the single-family buildings.
Okay. It's just reiterating the water issue.
Oh, definitely.
No,
Yes.
water is a big thing, particularly in our city. With all of our hills, and that, stormwater is huge, so there should be a strong emphasis on that. So
Right.
thank you for...
Our engineers do look over the figures as well. We have an engineering department. They look over the figures to make sure that it's not just someone making up numbers to make people happy. Like these plans are stamped by people who carry a license to do this, and they can't just put things on them. But on top of that, our city staff looks them over as well.
Okay.
So, hopefully.
Yeah, we can even get
we don't have
third-party
problems.
involved to review them, so
Good.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
necessary. But we're hearing everyone, stormwater's big, so let's
Yep.
make sure we get some answers.
Thank you very much.
Everybody feels,
Did you have anything else you wanted to add before we?
I don't believe so.
And if I missed any photos, you can email them again. I promise I will have them next month. But I quite honestly, Chantel was nice enough to upload them. I forgot I even did that until I just pulled them up. So
That's okay.
yeah.
thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Okay.
So as far as we're aware, April 20th, our next meeting in April, unless they want to continue it again.
For the record, also, engineering had one comment on this, and I'll just mention it just so someone can remind me if we don't see this next time. It says, engineering recommends extending 8-inch sewer from the street through SMH number 3, which I assume is sewer manhole 3, and sewer manhole 2 at a minimum. Contact engineering for address, or consider Townsend Place as a private street name.
Okay. So that being said, everyone set for continuing?
There's another hand raised.
Oh, another one.
Yes, sorry, I didn't even notice that. Thank you, Tracy. Margaret, welcome to speak if you press the microphone button.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. When McSweeney approached me about 4 years ago, he was proposing 2 homes on the other side of across from my. I'm on two mountain torches. My property is on it borders the wetlands. And when he came, he said he has plans for only 2 single-family homes. And that time, he told me not to mention it to the planning board director. I don't remember his name now.
At the time, are we talking years ago?
Yeah.
Mike O'Hara, probably?
Yeah, O'Hara.
Yep.
It was O'Hara. And I, at that time, I kind of was suspicious as to why he's bringing it up now, because now O'Hara is gone. Because O'Hara had told me at the very beginning, when we purchased this home in 2003, that there will never be any homes been built by the whatever what the McSweeney owns in the wetland. That's what he said. There will never be any homes built.
Well, I'm not sure if that was accurate, since it is an approved rear lot, so it does have a right to be built upon for the zone that it's in. It's just limited to to the zone that it's in and what can be built on it. So in this case, as I mentioned, we can do a single family by right, or there is a provision in our ordinance to look at what is called a planned unit development, and everyone's welcome to read that section of the ordinance and see if it meets the criteria of a planned unit development.
One thing I want to also ask is, because you was talking about four-family homes, what is the zoning law in regard to the lot for each family home? Is there enough space for the four-family units? That's my question.
Well, it's a little bit relative, because it depends on they have, I'm not sure the whole size of the parcel. The parcel is very large, but a lot of it is also wetland. So it's pretty much what's possible on the upland or the buildable portion of available land on the lot. So that is it's a question, and that's why they went to the Conservation Commission to see even which portions would be practical to develop.
I thought that he scrapped that plan, building into the wetland.
Well, as I'm not sure, Paul, if you want to bring up the plan, what they're proposing at this time, well, they could be changing it around, but where they located the 4 buildings is not within the wetland.
Yeah, so this dotted line right here, if you follow my cursor, if you can see it on the screen, this is the wetland. So the houses are on what we call the upland portion of the lot, the non-wetland portion, though that's not this book's purview, that's conservation. That being said, it's not within the wetland.
Okay, it's not.
It is not.
Okay.
Most of the rear of the site is not developed. You can actually see, so you can see it on the first one. Your property's up here. You can't see the label, but this is your property up in this corner. All of this area up here is from these curled lines north and I shouldn't even say north and west. I don't know what direction that is. This way and this way, this is all untouched.
Okay.
All of this space up here is untouched, and this buffer right here, there's hard to say how far it is, but they have an arrow to your property line to this, that should be untouched. This space right here. But we can certainly clarify that next month. Like I said, I hope to have a clearer copy of what the buffers look like, meaning the areas they're not going to touch, and I think that will help everyone in this conversation.
And I think that McSweeney is what do you call it, really shooting up the stars, because those homes that he is building that on wetlands, there are four or five homes. He built those, and it sat vacant for several years before they were sold. Kind of thinking that he might not be able to sell those homes. He is building all those homes back there
I don't know, that we have a different economic climate now.
Well,
Are you talking about the ones on the front of this property? Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah, when he
it's
built the 3 houses on Townsend Street?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually built about four homes.
4, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember he had rented at least one or two of them for quite a while.
Yeah, it sat vacant for several years.
Yeah.
He actually went bankrupt on
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
And I just don't know why he is trying to do the same thing over.
I think that also might have had to do with the mortgage collapse. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that was around the time of the real estate decline, but I could be wrong. My memory's not good. So,
Well,
Well, thank you for your...
because he was building the same time Aho was building on this in this area, and Aho, the homes were sold even before they finished building it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyhow.
Okay. Well, thank you for participating this evening.
Thank you.
Any questions? All right, any further hands raised?
No.
No. Okay.
make a motion to continue to our April meeting.
A motion's been made with a
Second?
second. Thank you, Peter. To continue to our April 22nd meeting. Roll call vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say oppose. Peter?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Paula, aye. Amanda?
Aye.
Lynn?
Aye.
All right. All right, continued. Now, we have a new presentation this evening. We're opening a public hearing. Is actually the applicant here for this? Okay. I just want to make sure before I open it. Okay. For a special permit and site plan review, the applicant's MTL Residential LLC proposing to build a multifamily development of 7 residential units, which are two-story nature townhomes consisting of 3 bedrooms each. The site is located at 122 Oak Hill Road in our residential C district, which does allow multifamily development by special permit. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, board members, for your time tonight. My name is Ryan Proctor. I work for Dillis & Roy Civil Design Group, and I'm here tonight representing the applicant for the project, MTL Residential LLC. As was read into the record, and the reason we are here tonight, we are seeking site plan approval, as well as a special permit for the construction of the 7-unit multifamily structure at 122 Oak Hill Road. Under existing conditions, the site currently contains a commercial building, a large paved parking area that occupies a majority of the site, and the property contains a large singular curb cut over the frontage that is approximately 100 feet. So a large portion of the frontage is one large curb cut that is all paved and heavily deteriorated. There also is a fence around the property that contains barbed wire. The proposed project, as mentioned, is the construction of a 7-unit multifamily structure. Each unit would contain 3 bedrooms, would have a garage space within the structure itself, as well as an additional space within the driveway to satisfy the required parking requirements for the multifamily structure. Each unit would also contain an individual connection to the municipal sewer and water system services within the street. As I mentioned, the current configuration of the frontage is contiguous along the road. What we're proposing to do is consolidate the frontage, establish some new berms along the road with some landscape islands so that every 2 units would have a curb cut. So on the plan, units 1 and 2 would be accessed by a curb cut. Units 3 and 4, likewise 5 and 6, and then 7 would have its own on the top of the plan there as shown. About a month and a half ago, we met with the Community and Development Planning Team, as well as the DPW, to review this plan. There were a couple focus areas, most of which was relative to the parking configuration, and those discussions ultimately led to the configuration of what is shown today. The parking spaces have been orientated so that no one will need to back onto the road when they are leaving the site, so there is maneuverability within the driveways that we're proposing. And we also reviewed the configuration of the curb cuts that I just spoke about. Relative to drainage, as I mentioned, a majority of the existing site is currently paved or occupied by that existing commercial building. So the proposed project actually provides a reduction in about 20% of impervious area on the site. So we do anticipate a reduction in the drainage, our stormwater runoff generated from the site. There is an off-site catch basin down the hill, which is planned north, that would capture the runoff and currently does so under existing conditions as well. Along with the site plans, we did submit an application narrative that goes through your criteria relative to zoning, the special permit criteria for the multifamily home, and we also submitted some architectural renderings of the site as well that give a visual representation of the townhomes that we're proposing. I think I will leave it at that. I will try to be brief. If there are any questions or comments, I'd be happy to take them.
Great. I guess myself, I'm going to have to get some feedback from DPW. I don't understand how you're not backing out into the street because each one has a garage and someone's going to park behind the garage door. And then you have additional, what I see is additional parking off to the sides, not the primary parking. So I see people just parking in the driveway and backing out, just like a normal residential driveway. And what you have on the sides, which is great, is like additional visitor parking scenario. So that's how I just see practically as it's being used. Okay. So there's this whole about backing out to the street. The other piece is we need to, in the zoning code, city code, you need permission from the DPW commissioner to have more than 2 driveways. So there needs to be a special sign off from DPW that would allow that to occur.
Understood.
So I can answer both of those.
You can.
Because there's not only department comment, but I talked to Nick today because I knew this was going to come up.
Thank you, because I said I wanted to get that comment.
So I'll read the engineering comment first, and then, so Nick and Ryan and I had a conversation today. It says, this is Ryan's comment from the department review. It says, per discussion on February 4th, 2025 with the developer, DPW engineering prefers the proposed driveway configuration that doesn't force residents to back into Oak Hill Road. DPW engineering will accept the proposed number of driveways as it represents a parking necessity that cannot be met otherwise. And Nick did clarify that because our code specifically says the commissioner. Nick did, they talked about it. So Ryan answered, but from what I gather, Nick was on board with these comments. And it says to reduce the number of utility connections and street excavations, engineering recommends an off-street shared sanitary service running parallel with Oak Hill Road, which enters an offset SMH before connecting into the sewer main at a single location. Engineering respectfully requests the developer to install granite curbing with bituminous sidewalks from Plymouth Street to Columbus Street to match the existing granite curbing and bituminous sidewalk on Oak Hill Road from Plymouth to Fairmont Street.
Was there fire department? Okay.
The only comments, right? The only comments I have are Ryan's.
Okay.
The only comments I received was from DPW.
So it's important to involve fire department because there's a big issue with the retaining wall to the north, at least in orientation, because they like to get around a building. So that really almost looks like the building's like not even a foot off the retaining wall. How high is the retaining wall? Understanding that will be engineered, but whether or not that should even be that close to the retaining wall, there needs to be some potentially some access around that. So you need to get some feedback from fire department regarding that.
We can speak to them. Yep.
Okay. Another piece not shown here, but on your other plan, and this, it seems minor, but could be significant, is there's a telephone pole proposed in the middle of one of the driveways.
Yes, and we do have a note relative to real.
I know there's a note there, but we've asked this of a on previous development, and it's been 2 years. So we're going to be looking at something of like, I think you need to look at that, because I would say you wouldn't be able to potentially like pull a building permit until the pole's moved.
Understood.
I mean, they're not going to move the pole in this, decade, to my degree, seemingly. So whenever he's pointing about to be moved or be relocated, but it's not simple like that. So I think you need to look back and see what you can do to work around that. That being said, and I just toss this out there, it's like whether or not even you trounce it to 6 units, being able to get around the retaining wall and see if you could reorientate it to work around that telephone pole to be in some type of the median.
Well, I mean, it's okay to have it in there with the understanding they can't do anything till they move it. I would move it before you start the project, because Paul is referencing another condo project we approved where we had a road come off of a side street and a road come off of a main street, and the road off the side street had a telephone pole in the middle of it. And Unitil basically said, we're not moving it. And so the development is built right now with a road that ends at a telephone pole. There's a Jersey barrier in front of it.
Okay.
They can't move it. It's literally in the middle of the road. So it's something where you might want to just make sure before you break ground on this that you are guaranteed to be able to move that.
I would say it'd be a condition. So it's going to be like you have
Move
to
the
get.
pole
So you
before you
need
start construction?
before you pull a permit, you're going to have that pole moved.
Understood.
Unless you can work your design around it, so it's not in the way. So I just want to put that forward because
I
it could
appreciate the
be
comment.
a block if you can't get commitment from them.
Okay, understood.
Of certainty.
You always think you'd think these things are easy, but with Unitil, you really
I understand.
never.
I'll have to say
we've
the
had some
pole looks new. Too.
Were you aware the sidewalk comment that was in that that was in there? So basically, it's going from Columbus Street to. Hold on, let me reread the comment. The DPW comment says, "We request developer install granite curbing with bituminous sidewalks from Plymouth Street to Columbus Street to match the existing granite curbing and sidewalks on Oak Hill Road from Plymouth Street to Fairmont Street, which is what's already there." So basically, it's connecting the sidewalks from Plymouth to Columbus.
Okay, we did have the sidewalk shown on Columbus. I was not aware of that comment, to answer your question.
So basically, your site takes up probably 75% of that stretch, and then you have one property owner that has about 120-ish feet of frontage at 141 Plymouth. That might be the remainder of that offsite improvement. So it's not like a half a mile. I mean, it's because you go almost all the way to Columbus Street. There's a corner of
Do you want to show it on the map?
Oh, sorry. I had the screen paused. Hold on. So this is the site right here. This is the apartments behind it. So Columbus Street's right here. Yep. And Plymouth is right here. Okay. So they're talking from here to here so that they can connect the sidewalks that already exist further down Oak Hill Road. Okay. So realistically, you'd have, aside from everything in front of the project, which you're creating anyway, which you'd have to do, you'd have this corner to the site, less whatever driveways they have there, and then this corner to here, which is 28 feet, it looks like.
Okay, understood.
I know there's also, apparently in the rear of the property, there's also a fence.
Yes, I think it wraps around the front into the back of the property, I believe.
Yeah, well, there's like a stockade fence in some not so great condition then along the retaining wall to the back of the property.
I think I took a picture today. Hold on. Yes, I did take a picture today. So let me. You can't see over this, but there's a fence right here. Is that what you're talking about? This one that comes down this hill here. It's a chain link fence. It goes behind the property. It's tough to see past this, but it goes right there. It's just a chain link fence.
No, it's further, like towards the commercial building, like right behind versus the parking lot.
There's nothing. I mean, there's one up on the hill up here, but there's nothing.
Go down.
I can't go more.
No, go down the street and look in.
All right. Well, this is an actual picture I took.
Oh, that's sorry. Versus street view.
This is a very close up of the right hand side, but you can't see anything.
So when you look in, there's like a fence on top of the retaining wall.
So the garage to the right isn't on their property. The garage that's almost right against.
I'm not talking about the garage. There's a retaining wall right behind the commercial building.
Let me pull up the street scene.
Because in the plan, it's retaining wall to stay, and then they plan to build another retaining wall in front of that retaining wall. But on top of that wall, there's like a.
You're talking about
behind. If you see behind.
So this is on the neighbor's property, and this is on the neighbor's property.
Can you zoom in a little bit? Behind the property.
Yeah.
There's that right there. There's a stockade fence. Yeah, right. It goes along the retaining wall that goes.
So this retaining wall continues
to
that
the
way?
left. Yes.
Okay.
So
that must be shown on the plan?
On the plan, and it says to keep that wall, but also put a wall in front of it.
existing retaining wall to
Yes.
remain. It's just this tiny little section, really?
I don't know if they just put what's on their property.
Because you're talking about over here.
Well, the wall continues, so I'm not sure why there's just like, a 4-foot or 6-foot section there.
Because where you were just looking is roughly where the new retaining wall is going.
Yeah, but you can see there's a retaining wall right behind the garage that goes into this commercial behind the property, so it's not shown on the plan.
Or it ends right there.
Right, I don't know. So just that corner's going to need some, further look-see.
Understand.
Going around with fire department again and going around it. What's the wall? Where's the extent of the wall? What's the fence on top of the wall? Can there be improvement to the fence on top of the wall for the project? What is the corner going to be developed to look like?
Okay.
And accommodate the abutters as well. Could you pull up the elevation?
Yes.
Because I like the elevation.
Yes.
While they're doing that, what would be your plans in this development for rubbish removal? Is this going to be city rubbish removal?
I believe the intent is to have individual receptacles within the garage.
So picked up by the city?
They would technically not qualify, I don't think, because it's a 7-unit building.
Right, that's what I was kind of getting at.
I don't know.
Just like
I think it's up to a 4.
A typical
Is it
condo
9?
development wouldn't qualify if it was over 4 units,
Right,
I don't think. But
right.
But it's, right. But we think condominium versus this is going out to the street, not looking like a traditional subdivision off of a private.
question for Steve Curry, I guess.
Since it's fronting on a public way versus off of a private road. Different.
We
Doesn't
can
matter.
find out the answer easily, have Chantel ask Steve Curry.
Okay. Yeah. Good question.
Yeah. It is something that I've been asked many times, and I think I know the technical answer, but I know in reality things might be different, so I don't know.
I think it makes sense to, if they were totes and in the garages, that works. If there were no garages, you would have to certainly have some kind of screened area for them.
Right.
So there's your elevations.
Yeah. So and I think the elevations were also labeled a little bit further about the ephes of what's to be used and.
Yeah, do you want to go down to the actual? So they're composite trim posts, architectural shingle roof, and then we have clapboard siding. They're not doing wood siding, are they? It just says clapboard siding. I'm surprised. I don't see the note here about the stone veneer, GC coordinating. So that's what that's all I can read on there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the elevations look nice.
I like them.
The elevations are very respectable. They look great. The thing that kind of worries me a little bit about the project is great looking. Really nice job with the elevations. What bothers me a little bit about the project is having 4 driveways dumping out onto Oak Hill Road, which is, I think, a little bit of a problem with the units. So there's going to be a lot of activity there and a lot of cars going in and out of the road. The second thing is just a number of parking spaces in general. I don't see a lot of spaces for guest parking. If they were to have guests over, where are they going to park? And the reality of the situation is usually when you have a one-car garage and you start storing things in it like rubbish barrels and all the other things you decide to put in your garage, it turns into more of a big storage shed. And you never put your car in there. So I can see the car always being in the driveway. And with 2 cars per unit at least, I just don't know where they're going to go. It looks like I said before, the elevations look great, but the parking, I think, leaves a lot to be desired at the unit. And I'm not sure if that can be solved by reducing the number of units, reconfiguring the project, but I think it's a problem, from my point of view only.
No, understood. And transparent, to be transparent, I am not the design engineer for this. My boss was quadruple booked tonight, so I'm covering for him. But I understand that parking was one of the major topics that was discussed in the department meeting with DPW. And this was a configuration that it's my understanding that was agreed on with the departments. So that's all I can say to that right now.
Yeah, we understand is what you're presenting, but we're the approving authority, so we're going to take a look at that.
Absolutely, I understand.
Yep. Yeah, to me, I'll say it just seems odd about the 7th unit. It just doesn't fit in at the end. It's like just trying to squeeze it in, and it's really tight against the wall, and whether or not there can be any benefit to additional parking for the remaining 6 or something along those lines. I don't know. It's like, I'm not sure it entirely works. That's why I ask about fire and everything as well, because it just seems to be too tight against the property line over there.
Yeah, the topography to the rear of the 7th unit is pretty significant, too. The grade changes, but or at least on it. Oh, I'm looking at something you guys aren't looking at. I'm sorry, I apologize. But it's just looking at the topo lines right here. I mean, I don't have the figures there, but you assume it's at least a 2-foot change between each one. But that looks like a significant change. Yeah, it's 574 to 583? Yeah, it's 10 plus feet over that very short stretch. Is that 20 feet? So that's a 2-to-1 slope, or well, maybe a tiny bit less, because you got to figure this building's got to be 20 feet wide, 24 feet wide. So, but we do, Paula, you're right. We do need to hear from fire. We need to make sure that they're okay with getting to the rear of these buildings. I don't know if with 7 units you can get to the rear of these buildings if you have to for a cooking fire or whatever. I don't want to speak for the fire department, but usually I hear they want to get around the buildings, and it's pretty tight with 7 units. So I don't know.
Yeah, so specifically we want to talk to fire about that, of more than like just a check off. We want to make sure that we get feedback on that.
We can contact them.
All of these, so you guys did turning radiuses out of all these garages. They can all back out into those cross-hatched spaces?
Yes, that's the intent of those striped areas, to provide that maneuvering, not just for the garage space, but for the second space for the units also.
Mm. Yeah, like, you take, for instance, you take unit 5 right here to make this, I mean, I guess this turning radius is just through their turn aisle, because they can't make this sharp turn, especially if there's a car there. They won't be able to get into this spot to get out.
Right.
So they have to turn this way.
Just going to back out, because there's going to be even a car behind them. It's just like a regular driveway in front of a garage, so I don't see that it really alleviated the backing out issue.
Mm. I mean, I would say, show the normal, car SUV turns there, that they can safely make them. And I do have concerns that even though it's designed so that you could fit 7 units, I do have concerns that in real life people will not back into those. Like, if you're coming out of units 3 or 4, I could see that, because there's one on each side, meaning unit 3 here can back across this way, and unit 4 here can back across this way, and that's a pretty safe turn. Mm-hmm. Meaning, if you're coming out, you got the whole turning aisle to do. I can see people doing that. Coming out of 5, I just see someone saying, "Oh, screw this! I'm going straight back." So I do have questions about in real life if that's what's actually going to happen. And the problem is, once you approve this, there's no going back. Meaning, once it's on the ground, it is what it is. Even though our code specifically does not allow cars in anything other than a single 2 or 3 family building to back out onto a street.
Also, take a look at the code about the on-street parking, because I'm not sure how wide that landscape island is between the driveways, but you can't park within, I don't want to be, don't quote me, at least, is it 3 feet or more?
It's 3 feet from the property
3 feet from,
line.
from
And we
the
do have
driveway.
that.
So it's like, is there even enough space to park on this street between a driveway that people or visitors are going to do and block the driveway? Is the landscaping strip long, you know?
Oh, lengthwise, you mean?
Right, is it lengthwise, is it
Right.
long enough so that someone could park in front and walk? Otherwise, they're going to, no, there's no place to park in front, they're just going to block everyone's a driveway.
Okay.
Just something practical to think about if, you know, no, we want to avoid on-street parking, but it's going to occur, so
Yep, no, I think that's valid.
about
This
that.
is something I didn't check, but just as an aside, what's the, okay, so the garages are at least the right size, 11 by 21.
Yes.
Okay, because we've often seen garages designed that don't meet
Right.
our code, so.
Yeah, so we,
Something you might want to consider, and I'm not sure this will work into your plans or not, but because the parking is so limited at the development, and on-street parking might be something you'd want, you might want to consider putting only 2 curb cuts, one on each end, and that way you'll have that space in between the curb cuts for street parking. So I do agree with the vice chair that if there's an easy way to get out of your driveway and it's straight, you're going to back out. You're not going to turn around. And if I lived there, I'd do the same thing. I'd back out into the street because it's easier. So again, with 4 curb cuts, it's a little much.
I will say, I think that.
I think something could be done. I mean, I like that you're replacing what's there now.
Definitely.
With a proposal, it's just, I think it definitely needs some massaging.
Right.
Yeah, maybe something a little smaller.
If what it's
And
worth.
you may find out after talking to the architect or whoever designed this project, you may find out that 7 units on that site is just simply too much. You may find out that 4 units work better for everything considered. So don't be stuck on 7 units just to try to squeeze them in. Try to do what's right for the lot.
Understood.
I do want to say that I having seen the original plan, and from there to here was a pretty good jump, and there were some, major deficiencies with the initial plan that I saw, some progress, and, take into account, I guess, what the board's comments are, but I think that there were good jumps made between then and now, and, hopefully we can find a way to get something to be built on that site.
Is there any public comment regarding this proposal this evening? This is 122 Oak Hill. Anybody in our virtual realm? No. Okay. Do you have any questions for us?
I don't think so. I think I have some homework to do.
Okay.
A couple items to take a look at and people to contact. So unless there's anything additional, I think we'd like to request.
Anybody else on our Alin or Alex or Amanda have any questions you'd like to find some answers to for the next meeting?
I'm good. I like how, I'm looking forward to the improvement on that lot. So hopefully we can find a great project to go there.
Yeah, nothing from me at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and nothing from me. I agree with what Amanda said. Looking forward to seeing the improvements. It looks like a great project, start of a great project, so.
Great. All right, so I think we will propose to continue to our next meeting.
Yeah, my one suggestion, it would be, I think you, Greg, or whomever reaches out to Fitchburg Fire, we can probably hopefully coordinate with Chantel so that they give us something in writing. It can be from you guys, but as long as it's from our chief so that we don't have things secondhand.
Absolutely.
You always hate, you get to a public hearing like, we met and everything's fine. Yep. And then we hear something afterwards, so it's nice to have something in writing.
Yep, I understand.
Perfect.
Yeah, but going to them directly would be helpful to you right away, so that you'll be able to work on your design of whatever the comments are.
Agreed. We will do so. Thank you.
And you might be able to, I don't know that this is possible, but you might be able to have a conceptual conversation with Unitil about, we have a project, we have a pole, can it be moved? And if they say yes, then we can at least make it a permit condition, but you can be there can be less trepidation about it if you have that conversation. You can also, not that you want to go through this pain, but you can watch this meeting if you want to get any of those notes that you just write down. So
Oh, yeah, I'm in the habit anyway.
it's on FATV,
so-
so it's all yours.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Make a motion to continue to April.
Motion made with a
Second?
second by Peter. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed. Peter.
Aye?
Paul.
Aye.
Tracy.
Aye.
Alex.
Aye.
Paula. Aye. Amanda.
Aye.
Lynn.
Aye.
All right.
Great. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right. We have other business this evening. And underneath our other business, we have 23 Pleasant Street.
Do
Here.
you want to do this by who's here?
What's that?
I don't know, because we have people in the audience. It's fine, whatever. We can do it however you want it.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, let me pull up, I think there's a picture somewhere. Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Pull up the pictures. I think that's the best way to do this. Oh, there you go.
Good.
All right, let me
Just
zoom in.
stopped by there today, too, to take a look.
Yeah, it's coming along for sure.
Okay. All right, so let me start here. I'm just going to figure out the Zoom. If you want to just give us the gist of what you're here for.
Yeah, basically for the condensers, what we had previously discussed was putting it on the back roof. There was a whole host of issues with that. Number one, it would have required a post basically in the center of the bedroom, which would have required another post through the, I would have basically lost 2 bedrooms. Number one. Number two, where that would have been located, I kind of figured out later, you could see out the window of every single one of the apartments in the back building on 42 Pritchard Street, so there's probably 10 units that would have looked right onto it. So what I'm proposing here would, if you go down to the next page, is either a hexagonal or square lattice 6-foot high fence, which would provide a number of solutions. Number one, it would provide, you wouldn't see it from the street, so no apartments would see it from the street. And number two, the holes would allow for ventilation through. I spoke with Mark Sullivan, the building inspector, about that, and he agreed that that would be a good solution. So on Pleasant Street, I would put a gate, a privacy gate that you walk up to. You wouldn't see it at all through that gate. And then along the side would be this lattice. I prefer the square, but I wanted to leave it up to you guys if you wanted square or hexagonal, or if you're going to prove it at all. But
So I noticed today, like where they're located, there's actually a shelf located further down, a concrete shelf, and why it couldn't be located instead of off the porch onto the...
So the shelf down below really
Yeah.
is, I mean, that guy kind of dips way down into the neighbor's area there. It's a pretty tight property line, and that brick wall, I had to completely rebuild that brick wall. And that shelf there was just much more convenient for locating those, and that porch wasn't going to be used anyway. And again, that lower shelf, if you're in the lower street and you're looking up from Pritchard Street, that's still going to be right in your face. I mean, you're still going to see, the idea was not to see HVAC units, right? So if I put it lower, you'd still see those units from that entire lower.
I just don't care so much about what Pritchard Street is, because you see the dump that it is on that level over there? No one's looking at that level. I'm just saying no, level from Pritchard Street on
Sure,
for
but I
your
guess
building, but...
My kind of thought was, the intent of the discussion was to have them not visible at all, right? And having them up.
Well, at least along the frontage.
Well, you won't see it with the
Side.
with the,
On the side of the building.
solid door on the front.
Well, I guess, I just want to bring this up, and I put this to as well. You do need a railing there, period, because it's a cliff going off.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm not a big fan of a 6-foot vinyl fence there. Actually, the units themselves are almost the color of the trim. And I almost think that, and I'm going to put this out there to the board too, just a railing that's in character with the house. Doesn't have to be the regular, like 4-foot height or something like that, just to go across. And you can even do it across the front. I think putting a 6-foot vinyl fence around that is just going to, I can't even see how you work that into the column or the post.
Well,
It's just gonna
basically, the
just
fence,
detract from everything.
the post basically was going to go right behind where that existing post is and then make the corner back. It's, you know, I have a really good fence installer that, you know.
So we go behind it
It would
versus in front of it?
Yeah, so you'd still see that post, and basically you'd walk up, you'd have the vinyl privacy gate in front that opens up into the area. That fence would resist 200 pounds,
Yep.
which is the railing requirement
Okay.
for code. So it's completely up to you. It's less expensive for me to put a railing there, so that's fine. I just thought that, you know, this would be would meet the intent of what was originally discussed, which was hiding the unit.
Typically, it's when we say hiding, they're like ground mounted, and you're putting a fence around the ground with some shrubs, that kind of like thing. But when you're
Yeah.
putting them on the side of a building,
Yeah.
it's kind of like
So the
you deal
problem
with that.
you've seen this property, right? It's like basically built
Yeah.
into the side of a cliff. Like there's,
Correct. Yeah.
it's been an insane project. You know, if you look at some of the lower pictures down below, like it's been a tough one. But you know, these are the last hurdles that
We'll get to those in a second. I think I might be in the minority, but I like the two designs. I like the square vinyl top portion here on the left-hand side, and then you have
Right.
a fence here. I mean, my only suggestion would be to match the color that you have there, which I'm pretty sure you can get in vinyl, that tan.
We just spray it.
I mean, vinyl.
Well, I only
gonna
worry
be
that
white.
white and tan off-white would look weird next to each other, but that was really my only concern. But even that, it's a very minor it's a very minor concern. I liked in concept what the idea was, but you know, that's just me.
And I think so the next question that we're going to talk about is the colors, right? So that particular shade is a very specific shade, so I don't know if I'd be able to find that exactly in a vinyl fence. I could paint a wood fence if that was a preference, but vinyl, I don't think I could match the colors. I think it's either white or wood. You know, there's a handful of other stock colors you can get vinyl in, but I think white's probably going to be.
I don't feel strongly about that latter opinion. It was just something that struck me as once it's there, it might look weird. That's all I was saying.
Sure.
In concept, I like the idea of the intent of blocking the mechanicals for a building of this age, and I think it's you know, not an obtrusive way to do it. So that's my 2 cents.
I mean, I like it too. I don't know. I mean, just like that with a railing, I agree.
Oh, for sure I need to put a railing there. That's
Right.
the question.
No, I like the privacy in the front and then the lattice on the side.
I also agree with Paul and Tracy. It's a good idea. It's a creative way to deal with this issue, and it's nice that your tenants are going to be able to stay nice and cool in the summer and warm in the winter, so makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with Amanda and Paul.
I could go either way on
I was
this.
going to say, I'm itching to hear from our local
I'm like,
historian.
I'm like whatever Peter says.
You know, I really could go either way. First of all, you put a lot of work into this house.
does.
You really have. It's really. I went by this house 2 days ago. It's looking like $1 million. And I know the way that we wanted you to do this.
Yeah.
It costs a lot more to do it that way.
Yeah.
But the proof is in the way it came out. It looks beautiful.
Appreciate that.
Now, I do have to agree with the chair. The house looks like a beautiful Victorian home. And putting a white vinyl fence up against that porch is not the best look. It's a little bit out of character.
Okay.
And I do agree that a fence there would look a lot better and be in a lot more agreement with the home.
Okay.
Railing, you mean?
Railing, or
you said
right,
fence.
railing, just some kind of a decent-looking railing, and exposing the porch, even if it wasn't used. It's just a nice feature of the house, and it would look better if it was bare and nothing was on it. So my feeling on this is, if and only if the mechanicals could be moved to the lower level without incurring a crazy expense, and if it was about the same amount of money to you, I would say, move them. If it's a burden, I'm kind of okay with it. If you want to go that way also.
Yeah, the thing is, It probably would cost about $20,000 between, I'd need to rerun, because those electrical cords to feed those are 45 amps, so I need to run those all the way from the.
They were already tied in.
Then I like the vinyl fence.
They're already tied in. It's not like they're just put there as they're waiting to get installed. They're
ready to heat and cool.
Yeah, that's good.
The other alternative, Peter, that he suggested, and I don't usually like doing this, but I can make an exception because it's an old house. He was saying he does it in wood and paints it the same color as the trim. I don't usually like wood because we know over time they don't get taken care of well, but that's an option.
I hear that, but I think with the white vinyl, and I do like the square rather than the diamond-shaped panels, even though it won't be exactly the right color, it'll be clean, it'll always look good.
Okay.
It's also across the street also has a lattice fence. Just noticing that there are some pieces in the neighborhood as well.
Yeah.
So
redeveloping that. So.
one other thing I'm fine with what's suggested.
Great. Okay.
On the front of the house, though, I was going to request that I was just saddened about how the electrical was pointed right smack in the middle, and that you just paint them the facade color to hide it. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. I spoke with my electrician about that. There was really the way that Unitil wanted the panels located and everything else. That was really the only location that they proposed as possible.
Yeah, so typically it's like we don't have to think about this so much when we do permit conditions, but it really makes me think about in the future about it. Because it's kind of like...
I see, I definitely...
When you go like,
a lot of times
anywhere off to just to the side.
A lot of times you don't know
that.
until you get into the actual construction project exactly where they're going.
So, but regards, it's there now, so all I can think of is just, if you just paint the conduit the same color as the facade to hide it, that would go a long way.
Okay. The panels I can leave gray.
What's that? Yeah.
Meters themselves, I think I have to.
Yeah,
don't paint the meters. The meter panels.
I mean, if you.
I think she just means the plastic.
I just at least the conduit. I mean, if you want to paint the panels, you can paint the panel.
I don't think Unitil would be super happy about that.
I don't think so.
I mean,
your
before
panels.
you touch it, make sure with your electrician you can paint the conduit. But I can't imagine you're gonna
be able to paint conduit.
I don't know.
Yeah, it should be fine.
I thought the same thing. The first thing I thought was, oh, gross. But I didn't even think about painting them just because I picture it flaking because it's plastic, but whatever.
No, I should.
There's a paint.
No.
I believe there's a paint you can get that adheres to the plastic. Yeah, I didn't like that location either. My electrician convinced me that was the only location that would work. He might have been, but that's what he told me.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. No, but I agree with Peter. I mean, you did a great job. It means a lot, particularly because anytime someone takes on a project like this, we've seen a lot of developers over the years have some promises, and they usually don't look good, but you did a good job. It looks very nice.
I'm glad you described about the lattice work that's going to go behind the post, because all I can envision it's going to be around the post, attached to the post, and just like...
No, it's going to be the post in the corner. And then, that'll tie back, so you'll still see the ornate post.
You were able to, but for the, like the doorway, all the detail, you weren't sure how?
Yeah, so we were able to salvage pretty much most of the trim.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I know.
Yeah.
It's very transformative, and those images that you sent, there was a giant hole through the middle of the building,
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I walked in there, my father was like, "You're really, taking on some risks these days." But from the ceiling of the top floor all the way down to the basement, you could see all the way through. It's certainly been learned a lot of lessons in this project, but turned out awesome, and I am excited to get it rented. And
great.
So the other piece you put the diagram up was you're looking to modify the conditions, and you'll put in a modification permit we got it for next month, but we wanted to talk about it with you tonight.
Yeah.
And let you know whether or not we're agreeable to it, so you can move on the activities like that.
Yeah. So basically there was the HVAC, the paint colors. Basically, when we were using the approved color, there's a lot of areas of the house that were very challenging to kind of cover the blemishes. So we put a bunch of samples up in that color. Still, Chantel had sent over some, historic colors, and I worked with my paint provider to find one that kind of worked well, and that's what we came up with. So
It works well with the door colors, too. Look at that.
I plan to paint that door black.
What's that?
I plan to actually paint.
Oh,
the door.
from the orange, from the...
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't have to paint it that, but I thought that went well.
Peter?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Black
I
or
think
the
it's fine, yeah.
Yeah, I thought black would look nice
That's
there.
fine.
Look good.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm just trying to, I'm just
Is
trying
there
to
anything
look
you want up on the screen? Because I have the permit too.
And the only other thing too is I definitely plan to put some plantings in front of those windows. It's just the ground's been frozen.
Yeah.
So if we could just basically, you talked about it earlier that sometimes you do a condition that's required within 6 months of the CO. I certainly plan to do it. But I know Mark Sullivan, the inspector, wanted input from the board.
Yeah, I think what's important for the board to do now is basically let Chantel give the building commissioner direction that in concept we're okay with the changes, so as to not impact your occupancy permit. And then just next month we'll clean everything up with a modification.
Okay, great. So then basically, hypothetically in that situation, they would allow me to continue with occupancy. I can get it rented, and then we can just look at the photos afterwards, make sure it all looks good, and essentially that's the intent.
Is the board okay with that?
Yes.
Yeah. So, as you outlined, between now and then, you're also going to finish putting in the fenced-in area for the trash, and you're going to do the fence over for the parking area.
Yeah, we're doing the vinyl-coated chain link, and we're going to paint the poles black, so that way you have a continuous black fence, black chain link around the parking area, and then we're going to do the vinyl fence. My only question there was, too, I was going to look at a couple of options there.
Why don't you use the same lattice work that you're using on the other side? I don't know.
Well, it's certainly possible, but in a driveway, my only concern was cars going in and out. If it bumped into a vinyl fence, it's instantly going to crack. Would it make more sense to do a chain link fence there with those vinyl slats in it?
So I can tell you, I hate the vinyl slats, but we've talked recently, if it's a situation where you either push snow up against it or people are going to park close to it, there's something to be said for the coated chain link fence. I don't love it, but it's...
What if you put the black slats in it, vinyl, look like he's doing the vinyl chain link along, so it would be another vinyl chain link, but with black slats, so it's totally enclosed and goes with the black door, I guess.
I think...
Black theme.
Yeah, my only
versus
concern,
it being white.
I'm sorry. So you were saying not even the... So one of the conditions was fence located at the top of the retaining wall to be replaced preferably with cast aluminum or black vinyl coated chain link.
Yeah.
But you're talking about... You're not talking about that fence?
I'm talking about the fence that's supposed to surround
the trash.
The trash.
Oh.
So that...
In that area.
That currently was proposed to be...
You can see the photo.
A vinyl fence. I'm just concerned, with snow or cars, especially in the wintertime, just if you bump into that and it's cold, it's just going to crack the whole panel. So does it make more sense just to wrap that with, instead of making that a vinyl, as Paula said, maybe it makes more sense to make that, continue the black chain link and maybe just put some black slats in there too.
Yeah, so it's going to go, see where the ladder is?
Yeah.
It'd go right there. So the right behind it is black chain link.
Right, so you don't want...
Yeah, black.
So a car to hit it, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it could be still an enclosed area with a gate or something.
I don't feel strongly.
Like that.
I mean, like I said, I hate the vinyl, the strips they put in chain link. It just, they never last, and then eventually you have some are still there and some are broken, and it just, anyway. Whatever the board feels.
What else do you propose to make it that you can't see through it?
I mean, I can put a vinyl fence there. I'm just, it might be fine, but I'm just concerned someone pulls in and hits it. If it's a chain link fence, it's just going to move. Maybe a couple slats break. If it's a vinyl fence, I'm replacing the whole fence. So it might not be the prettiest option, but I think it's probably a more durable solution.
I feel like hiding the trash barrels shouldn't be necessary.
Just leave it open?
Yeah. just line them up nice with the City of Fitchburg seal, you know, everybody sees it. I love our trash barrels. I don't know why we have to cover them up. Remember when we used to just throw bags of trash on the street, like, and wait for the rubbish man? Like, seeing these carts is such an improvement, like, to the way things were, I don't know, before we had these carts, which are awesome and can hold multiple bags of trash, and like that hides the trash. Those hide the trash, and that's good. As long as the trash is contained in the barrel, like, that's the problem, is when people overflow them and they look horrible. But I don't know, it's a part of life.
What if you actually made it look a little bit of an L shape with your chain link there now to at least just come out on the frontage of the street, so it formed like an L, and put the trash lined up behind that or something?
And I could also, I'm going to paint the parking lines there too, so I could just paint a little area where the trash is supposed to go. And hopefully
What are the other board's thoughts?
I think in this situation, it'll work. Your idea, Paula.
This gives a little obscurity at the street to go with the black chain link, and then it gives it so it won't push out to the sidewalk too. So it's like, here's the end, and it goes this stretch.
It creates a corral. For
correct. You know, I guess. Something like that.
Fine. I got no strong opinions on it.
Anybody else have any opinion on that? Amanda, you okay with that thought?
Yeah, I'm great with that. Thanks.
All right. And I see that you did the curb cut. That looks good.
Yeah, I looked through the list. I believe I hit everything else on that list. I don't think there's anything.
Yeah, just the plantings, the fence, and the condensers.
Yeah.
Right.
So basically, I held off on the fencing scope entirely until we had this.
And the paint.
And and the painting.
Yeah, and then just you'll paint the conduit, and then provide us with the paint colors, because we specifically put in here pearl gray for the body and light buff trim. So tell it, what should that be modified to?
I think I did include that in the document that I sent over. Basically, I worked with my paint supplier, and we looked at the list of historically relevant paints that Chantel had provided, and found the most similar to those. That also provided the blemish, reduction, if that makes sense. But I think
there's a very thorough response to the conditions. I can pull them up.
Okay. Well, we're not going to. I just want to make sure we have it for next month. Like, we're going to modify to what it is you're asking.
He responded to each condition.
You provided fantastic materials, I have to say. I mean, you were great with the photos, and then I'm already thinking, going like, well, were some of these things done? And you addressed them right in the photograph and said, hey, once I get this done, these are going to boom, 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 be done right after that. So my approval. So you answered a lot of questions.
So my suggestion, so that Chantel can convey to building without taking by taking either a formal vote or a formal poll of the board, saying in concept we're perfectly fine with the project to issue occupancy permits. We'll handle the outstanding issues after the fact, based upon the modification that was presented by the applicant. It's okay to give an occupancy permit and not get in the way of that. So I think the right way to do that is to take a board vote just on that, just so that they know. When I say they, I mean Felix and the building commissioner, the building department, so that it's kind of set in stone, so that we're not getting in the way of things. I hate, because our next meeting is not for another month, and I assume you're close to occupancy, right?
I just got to get these done. I mean, the units are ready to go. I just got to get my CO. So.
Perfect. I'll put that in the form of a motion if you want, Paul.
Okay, in the form of a motion. All those, and with a second. And all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed. Peter?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Tracy? Aye. Alex?
Aye.
Paula? Aye. Amanda?
Aye.
Lynn?
Aye.
Great. Hopefully.
So then next month we'll basically just cross T's, dot I's, and just make the modification.
I want to make sure that permit has been recorded. I just couldn't find it in the registry of deeds.
Yeah, I brought that by
uploaded
Chantel's
it.
office
Did you
today.
find it? You did?
Aaron brought it in today.
Great.
Had I known I
Great.
needed cash for every single transaction, that would have made it much easier, but each place and I was $5 short. It was,
Oh, boy.
They didn't make, did they make you have a set an appointment for recording?
no, I went in, but every time I went to the first place I needed cash, went to the ATM. Anyway,
I only asked because I noticed a big
Okay.
bold note on the
Yeah,
registry now that says
that.
you must make an appointment in order, like, since when?
It's a public building.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway,
yeah. But no, I appreciate it, and I think we were going to do a ribbon cutting there, so hopefully if you guys get an invite to that.
Oh, great.
Good. Like to see you there.
Oh,
Or you can get it right there for us.
I see it was just recorded today. Good job. 226.
Thank you.
Fantastic. All right, wonderful.
Yes, because we need it to be recorded to be
Yep,
official.
it is now.
Yeah. To modify it.
Good job. Keep up the good work.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'll move.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You can choose another one when around.
There you go. All right.
Bye-bye now.
All right, we have in our next item, Mad River Solar, 0 Ashburnham Street. Update on the landscaping and fencing.
Good evening. Hope everyone's doing good this evening.
Hi.
We met with the board last month, or briefly. We presented a couple different options, which we've since run past the Conservation Commission. I know there's a comment from the board that looking at old aerials, the limited clearing had gone a bit more than just a little into the buffer. It was unfortunately well into the buffer. So we did prepare a second option, and we also provided some photos and documents. I think we're happy to do whatever the board prefers. We wanted to give you the two different options just to consider.
So this is, just so you know, this is B, I think.
Yep, yeah, so at the last hearing, we had presented two options. It was A and B, A being not included into the wetland buffer and B being extending into the buffer and a little into the wetlands. We went with conservation at the beginning of this month. They actually preferred option B for this area. So that's what we're going with. What I sent earlier today was I sent this, which was the previous option B that we provided with a little bit newer aerial from Google Earth from about August of this year, as well as a second option, B2, I guess we called it, but showing the older aerial that we were looking at last hearing, which unfortunately shows a little bit more of the clearing that happened and then plantings extending a litof further down into all the kind of previously disturbed areas.
Mm-hmm. So really the only difference between B and B2 is just a few more plantings kind of on the southern boundary?
Yep, yeah, we pushed the evergreen tree plantings, just additional rows of those, and then the shrub plantings down at the bottom. I don't know if you have it up. The other thing we provided was site photos from, I think, of October of this year. Mm-hmm. There was I know there was a question about how much growth was going on through there, and I know I've seen it. I did soil testing when I was out doing the basins, and it's not a full forest yet, but it is regrowing pretty well. When conservation was out there, I know the recommendation, and they certainly wouldn't tell this board what to do, was maybe maintaining that buffer and planting at the limit of work just to allow the existing forest and really focus on screening is what might be the preferred option. So when we provided the first option, which we presented last, it was more up denser and closer to the array where this would extend further down.
So, Paul, you had there was an image with like a berm.
Yep.
Is that towards the abutter? Like
this one you're talking about?
Yes.
Yep.
So am I looking down the hill?
Correct. You're kind of looking down the hill. You can't.
Okay.
quite
So there's
see
a
the bottom,
berm,
it's a
hopefully
little
to
lower.
either orientate stormwater, other things like that. But these are so that's the existing plantings I'm seeing to the abutter's house. And
Correct,
then,
yeah,
and then
yep.
and to the left is where the additional plantings will go.
So
on the side of the berm.
The additional plants would go, on the opposite side of that berm. That
On
we're
the
looking
left.
at.
On the there.
I would say straight over.
Yeah, where the shrubs are.
Right where those shrubs are, right there that we're looking at.
So we would be going to the shrub area, yeah.
Okay, now I'm confused.
Yeah.
So what? So what's? Okay.
We're looking. That picture is taken just like looking this way down the hill here.
Okay.
So the plantings would go right along here on the other side of that basin. So theoretically, the butters are straight ahead where this photo was taken. You just can't quite see them.
I can tell you, having gone up there, there's more area than it looks. It is growing in there, but there's more area there than it looks.
Okay.
Depth-wise, you get a better idea from the, like I said, from these aerials. Wow. I guess this, like you said, this is the newer one. I mean, this kind of shows, the weird part of aerials is it depends on what time of year they're taken to.
Yeah.
With foliage on the trees, it looks a lot more, filled in. This was the original one, and then this was kind of, I think correct me if I'm wrong, but the intent of this one is to fill in some of those open gaps between those trees is really what, like you have this sporadic planting here, like you must have gone out and labeled that there's, or is this just from the aerial where you picked like this spot to plant?
That was just from the aerial.
Okay.
Our original intention was to really focus on a residential screening piece, almost as if we were a commercial project abutting a property, and the tree selection was less a reforesting
but it is.
plan.
Oh, but it is.
Yep, good point. But less a reforesting plan and more of a screening plan, so picking evergreen trees and things like that. But that said, we wanted, obviously, if the board wants more plants, we could do it. We just wanted to caution that there is some regrowth going through there, so if we were to plant all those, we'd be taking out all that, the saplings and brush to
But those
plant them.
are going to have a lot taller canopy, those trees, what you're proposing?
Ultimately, they'll have a tall at planting, they'll be shorter.
Correct, but the goal is to have.
She's saying at maturity, right?
At maturity, there'll be a canopy.
And they'll be wider, there'll be evergreens.
Yep. Okay.
I like that. I appreciate that you guys went back, and I know it was, unfortunately, I think just a misgauge between what we thought and what ended up showing on the plans. But seeing the new aerial, I can certainly understand that some of these areas might be a little more grown in now. That being said, I appreciate that you went back through this, and I appreciate that you did that. I think that, if and when we can remediate the issues that this site cost that, again, predated you guys, but if we can remediate that, I think that we owe it to the neighborhood to do that. So I think that I'm happy with this.
Which plan do you call this?
This is B2.
B2. And has the Concom signed off on this plan?
So they signed off in the original version, but I did explain to them that you had requested further plantings towards the abutters, and I think
I have an email from Joyce, if you wait 1 second.
Because they just dropped off the permit with the condition.
Because
They did that last week or this week.
reached out to me about this. Hold on.
The modified permit from December?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so there was a condition in there about resubmitting the landscaping plan for approval from the planning board and the Concom, so just.
Yep. Oh, perfect. Yep. Yeah, that's what we told them we would do.
Yes, so I want to see if it's got approval from the Concom.
We did for the original B1. What I'll do is I'll send this plan to them and just let them know the planning board wanted additional plantings. I don't think they'll have a concern because it's not in the buffer zone, so I think they'll say it's out of their jurisdiction. But we'll make sure to copy them on that and
Okay.
make sure they're comfortable.
We just don't want to say, this is all great, we're all fine with it, but then they're not fine with it.
Yep. Yeah. No. Of course. Yeah. It's fine. Don't worry.
We'll try.
I want to preface the comment by, obviously, I said Joyce, so it has not to do with Concom because she's not involved in this for Concom. The email with her was about something else, but I believe I don't want to misspeak. I thought I talked to Mike Donnelly about it, but I thought the gist of it was that if the planning board was good with this side, because this isn't in the wetlands, that
If it's not in the wetlands and.
again, I don't want to misspeak, and I vaguely remember that conversation, but I can't imagine that it's an issue, because we're not dealing with anything in the wetlands
They
here.
approved B1, and it was still outside the wetland. B2 is outside the wetland, and it just there's more of it on the lower area towards the abutters. I think it should be okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident.
Is the board okay with the B2 plan?
Yes.
And because we'll have to take a vote on that so that we approve the plan.
I did have one other little caveat, and I was hoping to get this to you ahead of time, but I just found out today. So I actually got an email last week about a property owner that had a theoretical issue with glare there. I was only able to meet them today. So I went up to the site, I took some pictures. I don't think this is something that we have to handle with a permit condition. I was hoping that the applicant could could meet with the property owner, and he's got a very simple solution to his problem. I'm going to pull up the photos, if you bear with me for 1 second. So this is 90 Stickney Road, 90 or 91? 90, I think.
Okay.
So Mike Kelly.
On the east side.
Yes. So they're at the upper limits of the site. So he was telling me this is his kitchen window, and he was telling me that, you know, when he's sitting there in the morning, he's looking at his kitchen window. Your array goes up all the way on each side, but he only has an issue with this section right here. He said they get quite the glare off that section, so much so that he's been trying to figure out. The problem is his site's higher than your site. So putting trees down by your site would do nothing. Putting a fence down would do nothing, and he doesn't need that. He was thinking that, he was saying, worst case, he could do it, but I was thinking that because the applicant might be good neighbors and might want to help, that he's got this section here. So if you look right here, so basically between these two trees, he's got this fake deer here. So this section, you get closer, and we were talking about maybe a 30-foot section, just arborvitaes in that 30-foot section. That's all he wants. He just wants to block that glare. And the problem is it's on his site, so I don't know if you can help him, either fund it for him, or if you want to go on his site. I don't know. I don't want to get in the middle of that. I just think that you guys can maybe mitigate that as a kind of a small gesture to someone who you cut right up to their property line.
I see nothing wrong with that. And I might be getting confused between Concom and Planning Board conditions, but I do think there is a condition that says we will work amicably with our abutters to accommodate any concerns. So, yes.
So I was telling him the problem with this is glare's not something we first of all, I know they're anti-glare panels or whatever, but there is some if it catches at the right angle or whatever, but it's also something we can't predict until they're built. So you can't, you can do fencing all day long, but all the time you have topography issues that you can't predict until you see it on the ground. So, he was basically saying, if there was, some sort of plantings or something he could do in that small stretch. And I basically said, if you get 6-foot arborvitaes, 2.5 feet apart, that's solved. I mean, more or less. And he was very open to that idea. So if you could, reach out to him, and if you need an intermediary, I'm more than happy to introduce you.
Yeah, I would love an introduction.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we can work that out. If you can send an email to Chantel, she'll give you my contact info, and we can coordinate that at your convenience because I'm always in the area. So.
Perfect.
Okay, wonderful.
Would the board like to vote on the approval of the B2 landscaping proposal?
Yeah, so what are we doing exactly? Are we changing a permit condition, or are we just saying that's fine?
We're not changing the condition. The condition was to submit a plan for approval.
Perfect.
That's
Make a motion.
So this is satisfying.
Make a motion to accept the landscaping plan B2.
I know Lauren was asking about construction timing because I think they're hoping to get them planted in the spring. So it sounds like we don't need to amend the special permit. This basically just replaces
no
the
amendment.
previous. Okay.
No, we're basically just saying this is okay. Yep. That's all it is. So that, yep.
So
I think you're okay.
There's a vote to approve.
Go right away.
Second. With a second. All right, a couple seconds. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed. Peter?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Paula? Aye. Amanda?
Aye.
Alin?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks for the work you guys put into it.
So we already modified the permit, okay? So you should have that. One of the conditions is submit for approval the landscaping plan. So that's just meeting a condition. We're not modifying the site.
Okay.
When you're meeting the condition, we're not modifying the condition.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, maybe I should have read that carefully. So on the recent amendment, you already put that condition on.
Yes.
Oh,
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Yep. And we do have 376 Clarendon Street, review of revised plans. And I know that permit was already written and acknowledged this revised plan too, so. The permit was, I think, dropped off at your office already.
Yeah.
Yep, all good.
We just sent out notifications.
Hold on 1 second.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you need?
If you could bring up the site plan for 376.
Get it right.
Underneath other business.
Yep. Okay.
It looks like the plan was revised to address the items that we had discussed. They moved the 3 feet back. They talked about adding shrubs to the landscaped area and putting a berm up to the north on LaGrove Street. Talked about removal of the particle board shed. They relocated the trash. They put the fence up between the abutters to the south. There's the condition there about putting in a walkway, if there's going to be no walkway on Clarendon Street. The note. Which I was good with the plan.
Yep, I am too.
At that. So this is just one of the conditions is resubmitting the plan.
Yep.
This is an FYI, right?
Yeah.
No vote.
No, the condition was, I don't think it was for approval. I think it was just resubmit the site plan showing the things that we've discussed.
Perfect.
That
On
was
it,
the
with the conditions
condition.
of showing it.
Yeah, resubmit the plan with the discussed changes.
Yep. So this is FYI, correct?
Yeah, and if the permit's already drawn?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. The only concern is that this gets put in that file, because if we reference the old plan.
It actually was, so they submitted this the day after our hearing.
Oh, perfect. Good, good.
So this is, so they've had it, we've had it for a while.
Wonderful.
So, good thing, because it was able to be like, it looked like they met everything on it. So that was coming to our meeting tonight of, I don't think there's any further, we don't have to send it back to the drawing board for them to add more things to it. It's good. I think it's to satisfy that condition.
Sounds good.
Okay. Anything under communications this evening? No. We have,
I did want to mention, I think I've mentioned this at other meetings, but I got a notice in January that my ethics training was up, even though I didn't think it was, but I did it again. So if anyone doesn't get that notice, make sure you do it.
Okay.
Yep, the annual, let's see that.
Biannual.
Biannual.
I have to do it at Fitchburg State, so now I'm trying to remember which one.
Which one you did. Yes, so if you work for the state,
I was
you
up.
got to
This
do one.
is the first time I've ever gotten a note, and I feel like I do it every year, to be honest with you, but.
Well, you have to acknowledge it. 1 year, at Fitchburg
one's a
State, 1 year you have to do
Take
the
it.
thing, and then you got to acknowledge the second.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's like a
that's what it
summary,
was.
you have to acknowledge the in-between year.
Yep,
at that.
and if anyone needs a link, I'm sure Chantel can help you with that.
A few of us did attend the Citizens Training Planning Seminar a couple weeks ago, and if not a week ago, I'm like losing it already.
2
So
weekends
that was
ago,
pretty, yeah.
right?
Yep, so the more information was gathered on ADUs and solar, so, and as we make a foray into ordinance updates and stuff, we're just trying to get more educated on the matter there. And I don't think we have any minutes.
We are falling behind.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you know that.
I do.
The state says 2 to 4 weeks after a meeting, we're like,
I think that
meetings
Melissa's really struggling with the December meeting. We had it in the North Room, and
Oh,
she's
yeah.
having a real hard time hearing.
Well, just tell her to do the best she can. We edit them anyway. I mean,
That's true.
Paul and I go through them, so.
I gave her my notes too. I'm hoping that.
I mean, if there's not a lot of detail, there's not a lot of detail. At least there's some bones to it of,
Yeah.
of the basic activities that occurred.
Okay.
We got to at least do that. That,
Absolutely. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
And actually, look back at, so the December decisions have been written. I had to go back and review all of the between the transcript and watch.
Oh, you watched it.
I had to watch to go make sure I had my notes,
I always,
everything
every,
like that. to
every
try to
month I
figure-
rewatch the meetings when we do minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I had to do it to make sure I had the conditions right.
Yeah.
And things, so you could have her take a look back at the conditions and stuff in the permits for December.
Absolutely.
Also, just make sure we hit certain key bullet points. That's all.
Okay.
At that point, too.
All right.
Helpful. for that. So, yeah, so focus, like, we can get 2 sets next time. We can do 2 sets for a little bit. And then there's only, I think, a couple more decisions, and we'll be caught up on decisions.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yes. Happy about that, too.
Me too.
And then we're also in flux is our fee schedule has been submitted to council, so whenever they have their, move forward with their procedure to look at this fees for special permits, then we can act on that. And in between, we're updating the rules and regs. So there's been some behind-the-scene work on that, that we can adopt at any of our meetings. So, but we're going over all of our application and procedures and things that'll be in the rules and regs because of that.
Yeah, legislative affairs should be scheduled their meeting any day now.
The fees will be part of that.
Fees, yes.
That'll be good.
Yeah, but in that too, there's also aspects regarding continuances for the board to discuss as well. Regarding how many continuances, is there going to be additional fees for continuances? Things like that, to be like, can you choose, which date, if you're not going to be ready for the next month, then pick the month you are going to be ready. We can't just keep dragging it out to the public. As also thinking about triggers for when something should be re-advertised. So if it goes too long, like after 3 months, should it be re-advertised after X months, that type of a thing. So we at least hit some key points and make it transparent that there's a process in there. Always we can waive certain things depending on what the situation is, but at least to have some kind of move forward, some kind of a better standard. So there's everybody knows what the expectations are. That's all I have.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion's been made to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Good night.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good one, everybody.
Hey.
Hopefully spring's around the corner.
Maybe someday.
Well, I can't wait to shut off my heat.
God.